Find a better price at a competitor? Academy will beat it by 5%. That's their best price guarantee, which kind of is magic. Academy. Fun can't lose.
This is the home of your Rangers, Cowboys, and major college football. We are DFW Sports Station 105.3, The Fan, krld-fm and HD1, Dallas, Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. An Odyssey station.
Driven by our D&M Leasing Studios. Thanks for turning it on and leaving it on 105.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go on a Sunday morning here on 105.3 The Fan. Will Chambers, Eric Caceres with Dylan Moore back in the Pimp Cup. And we begin this Sunday morning with breaking news in a year in which our country is celebrating its 250th anniversary. For the first time in 46 years, the United States men's hockey team will be bringing home the gold medal. A little over 5 minutes ago, Jack Hughes, the center from the New Jersey Devils, the 24-year-old with an overtime goal, defeating Canada in the gold medal game 2-1. Eric, good morning. Go America.
Good morning. Go America. Will, do you believe in miracles?
Well, this wasn't a miracle. I mean, the United States was the second favorite. I mean, the odds, at least, going into this tournament, into these Olympics, was Canada was the favorite for the gold medal. United States was pretty much right behind them, and Sweden in Finland there. So it wasn't really a surprise that the United States had made it to this point. But I think that, the 1980 men's hockey team was one of the biggest stories in the history of sport.
Yeah.
That element of upset, it might be the greatest upset of all time. Just in defeating the Soviet Union, which wasn't the gold medal game, but the men's team in 80 went on to win the gold medal. I think that, this is, a lot of people don't realize that they had not won gold since then.
Yeah.
We've had the advent, they have put in NHL players that's been off and on over the course of the last, couple decades. But the fact is, I had forgotten that they had not won a gold medal since, and coming into the Olympics. I'm like, damn, that's right. They haven't.
Do you remember where you were at that moment when it happened?
In 1980?
Yeah.
Eric, I know I'm quite a bit older than you, but I was like 7 months old. So
okay.
I don't have recollection quite of that.
Okay.
I was born in May of 79. I was on the earth, but I don't have memory of that. It's, it's been great, and the lead up to it, of course, why we've all seen, most of us have at least, the movie Miracle, with Kurt Russell. It was terrific. Well, there's a documentary I just watched, I think on Netflix.
Yeah, Gavin Spittle was talking about this to us, I think 2 weeks ago when they were going into it, which I heard it's like crazy good.
Yeah, I mean, it is really good. So it's been fun to watch this group. It's been, let's be honest here. I'll say from my perspective, Olympic hockey has a level of excitement that is, playoff hockey. We all watch, even if you're a casual sports fan and maybe a casual hockey fan, you can't help but like playoff hockey because of the intensity of it. I feel that this has been every bit as intense as a Stanley Cup final game. Not just this match, but throughout the Olympics. And the fact that every time you go into overtime and it's 3-on-3, that is wild.
Yeah.
And it's wide open, and that's why obviously you see in these overtimes that they don't last very long. And Jack Hughes, once again, the hero for the Americans. I think that you have what's really cool, too. So this first period starts out, and you get a goal from Matt Boldy, the Minnesota Wild forward, in the first period. But there was such a shift in momentum.
Yeah.
that you had with it going into the second period. It was, the shots on goal. It ended up that Hellebuck, he stopped 42 shots on goal for the Canadians and just 28 for the United States. That second period seemed to be dominated by Canada. They get the goal from Cale Makari, and it was just it had this feeling as I was really listening or kind of listening to it on the way in here today. Damn, it's just they seem to be dominating. But there were some huge stops by Hellebuck, which is a little bit bitter. We're always kind of
that stop right there. He's just really falling back. I don't know how he blocked that goal. Which, like you said, 41 to 27 shots. I mean, that's telling. And the fact that they still pulled it off. I mean, that's why I respect sports like hockey and soccer, because you could be getting outplayed for 50 to 60 minutes.
Yeah. And
then boom, that one goal changes everything.
The Americans got a big-time momentum swing in their favor after they killed off for a little over a minute and a half a power play for Canada in which they had a 5-on-3. I mean, that is a penalty kill for the ages. This is the third time that the United States and Canada have played in the gold medal game. Obviously, Canada winning both of those in 2002 and 2010. 2010, the last time that the United States medaled, I believe, in men's hockey. Just an incredible finish as the Olympics come to a close today. And I'll say this too. I think that USA kind of needed this. There have been some incredible stories of American athletes succeeding and, winning medals and performing really well. But it also has been quite a disappointment with some of the biggest American athletes coming into these Olympics. Ilya Melanin, the quad god. Everybody, he was far and away the favorite to win the gold medal in men's figure skating. And he faltered and unable, finishing way back. Then Amber Green, similar to that. Chloe Kim not getting the gold, getting the silver, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. But, we're talking about the favorites. Michaela Schifrin, right? Now, she did end up winning a gold medal, but Michaela Schifrin is widely known or felt as the greatest skier in the world, maybe the greatest, skier of all time on the women's side, because she absolutely dominates in every competition that she is in. But when it comes to the Olympics and in Beijing, she faltered there, and then obviously, had a rough patch about, a week or so ago. There's been a lot of disappointment, I think, on the, for the Americans in these Olympics.
And we didn't even mention Lindsey Vonn. I mean, what happened to her, that situation. And I thought it was kind of crazy that the fact that, she was coming in with the torn ACL already, right? And she still competed, and probably because, 41 years old, that's probably going to be your last Olympic time to compete. And she went out there and just immediately, it wasn't even, it's one off of one bad turn, it was career ending right there. And so, and then she even doubled down on it and said that the fact that she doesn't think it was from skiing, that particular performance that it made the injury even worse. But I was wondering, is that a pride thing for somebody in that position? Or does she actually believe that, that wasn't the reason that caused it and it was just something else? It was an error.
Well, yeah, it was. Really, it was her arm, pole, shoulder, whatever it may be, hitting that gate in which caused her to go off balance. Now, was it because she wasn't as strong as she needed to be in her lower half? I guess she could talk about that at a later time. But, it's it didn't seem to be that it was something, with that knee that was the problem before falling. So I just a huge day to start things out. We had a great day of college basketball yesterday, but, for a lot of people getting up early, I don't know if you all had friends, Dylan, or anybody. Like, I had all my friends were over at Buddy's apartment a couple floors down from me that literally opened up his doors at 6:30 this morning.
Oh, he was ready. Yeah.
And I worked late, so I did not get up that early. But I came down just, on my way in here. And, there's a bunch of people in there. They had some breakfast tacos, had a big party going. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. 877-881-1053, the Frankel at Frankel. Injury Attorneys fan text. Hit us up. Let us know what your thoughts are on United States getting gold. And here is what it sounded like. 1:41 into overtime. Once again, the American hero, Jack Hughes, getting the United States gold over Canada.
Rock across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington.
And then, so immediately I'm going to Twitter, and I saw Mike Garafalo with a tweet that says, good start to the old 250th birthday. I'm like, hell yeah. What is it, the semi-quincentennial? I think that's what it's called. But just awesome. And I think all of us wanted to see, obviously, Jake Ottinger, to play in these Olympics, and thought that he was much more deserved to be in goal than Connor Hellebuck, but boy, you got to give it to Hellebuck, who was absolutely sensational today, and helping just get this into an overtime. Like I said, it was one of those to where the 5-on-3 penalty kill for the Americans, the amount of shots on goal, particularly in the second period, but just overall. 42-28. That was the Canadian edge on shots. Just amazing stuff. Now, Canadians were without Sidney Crosby, but I don't want to look anything. Look, that's a big piece missing.
Yeah.
Look, you got Connor McDavid. Miss me with all that.
They were still favorites, like you said.
Yeah.
So and they like the majority of the game after that first shot, they were outplaying them, but it didn't matter. Atolo yesterday, Will, was saying that he had church this morning, so he was going to be able to miss it. So I hope some people got to open it up or at least catch that ending of the game.
Well, hell, you can go to a 11 o'clock service, right?
I would think so. Or maybe you go to an early service and you're wrapping up, and then you catch this one at the end. It's still only 10 o'clock, so.
Yeah.
Still early morning for some people.
Yeah, no question about it. So, if you're just getting up, just throwing on the radio or getting in the car, the United States takes home the gold medal in men's hockey in the in the Winter Olympics, 2-1 in overtime. Just 1:41 into it, the 3-on-3. Matt Boldy with the goal in the first period. Cale Makar with a goal for Canada in the second period to tie it. An intense third period that yielded no goals, and it ended with Hughes 2-1. Awesome. Just incredible stuff. What a way to close out the Olympics and close out the weekend. And, man, just now we kind of turn our attention to, to Ranton, just hoping that injury, that lower body injury, is going to be okay.
Yeah, and Will, I was going to ask you this because I think it's interesting, right? Because with the Summer Olympics, you have basketball, and they compete after the season, and so it's kind of a dead period for some of those basketball players. In your opinion, how different is it for these hockey players that have to go right back to work in an NHL season? I imagine it's got to be a little daunting, for some of these players to have to, you go compete for your country. It's such a mental barrier, and then you have to turn around and go back to your teams and continue a full season.
I don't know. Because that's something that, it's a great question for these players. Because I don't
I'm
experience
curious,
it. I think that, and from all that you hear from, these athletes, particularly the ones, because you're right, this is different, that a chance to play for your country is an honor that that they absolutely love, that it means so much to them, that as far as, having to take a break, with the NHL and your regular job, your regular season, and then go back to it, it's one that they embrace wholeheartedly. And yeah, I guess if you're a fan, or if you're an owner of an NHL team, or general manager, or just, a part of the franchise, and you lose a player in a game that doesn't matter to your organization, I'm sure that stings a little bit, but I don't think that anybody's going to really, put much to it.
Yeah, Canada's receiving their silver medals right now. They, looks of a little disappointment, maybe a missed opportunity, but...
Yeah, take your silver and head back up north. Head on home. All right.
They got nice jerseys, though. I'll give them that.
Yeah, not bad from the red and black. Still nothing like the going back to the old 80s sweaters. Gotta love those. Okay, just getting started here. Will Chambers, Eric Caceres here on DFW Sports Station 105.3 The Fan. There are some Cowboys news to deliver to you that happened yesterday. Well, at least for myself, watching a lot of college basketball, which we'll get to at the end of hour number one, including from Eric, a specific player that he would love to see paired with Cooper Flagg. But the news on the Cowboys and what it means in this offseason, we'll do that next year on The Fan.
Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
This next segment on 105.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Frankels. If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel first. 214-817-3333-3333. With Frankel and Frankel, there's never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel and Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
A key re-signing for the Dallas Cowboys coming up here in just a moment. It's great to have you with us here on this Sunday morning on 105.3 The Fan. Will Chambers with Eric Caceres this morning as we're leading you up to Rangers baseball today. Spring training action in the Cactus League as the boys will take on the Colorado Rockies. Dylan Moore back in the Pimp Cup, and already the Frankel and Frankel injury attorneys fan text is gold, just like the U.S. men's hockey team. Adam in Arlington always with some good ones. What I'm gleaning from this conversation is you guys feel Canada is trash and we just need to go ahead and invade to make them our 51st state, right?
I love it. We got the text line popped up now.
Yeah, we're finally in there. Sean Strickland with a big win at UFC last night. We'll have that and more in the news at noon as we take you up to 2 o'clock today. And again, Rangers baseball. The news coming from the Cowboys, and this is from sources to Todd Archer of ESPN, that they agreed to a 3-year deal with Javonte Williams, the running back, guaranteeing him $16 million. Adam Schefter on this, actually, with Todd Archer as a part of it. So now it looks like they will turn their attention, or at least they can do so, with George Pickens as we head into the NFL scouting combine next week. And, of course, we'll have our crew there. Reporting live, Sean and RJ will be there with Bobby Belt, and Brian Broaddus will be there as well. But your initial thoughts on Javonte Williams, who set a career high in 2025 in rushing yards, carries, and touchdowns.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love this move, and it shows me that there's some aggressiveness from this front office early on, which we are not used to seeing as Cowboys fans. So I love it. That makes Javonte Williams $16 million guaranteed, and that only makes him around the 15th, 16th highest paid running back in the league with that deal.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. The value's great.
Yeah, that's what, when you look at it from, I was just trying to go here just based on cap hit. I'm on SpoTrack. I don't know if they have it on here as of yet because that may not be known completely as to how that's going to affect. Yeah, I am too. I thought, there's no, weeks ago, CA and I talked to RJ Ochoa, and there's no doubt going into this offseason that so much of the focus needs to be on improving the defense, right? I mean, that's stupid. But RJ Ochoa, Blogging the Boys, made a good point that, there's no guarantee that you are going to be able to replicate, what you did offensively next year with just bringing back what you have. There are obviously some questions as to what you're going to do at left tackle, and then up until yesterday, what exactly were you going to do with the running back position? I thought it was interesting that, right as the offseason hit, I thought, don't be too surprised if Jeremiah Love is available at 12, that the Cowboys don't go up not go up, but don't take him. Should they? That's another, whole thing. But I think he's such a dynamic player. I think he'll probably be gone, whether it be Saints or the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say, because they're probably going to take him with that first pick. I would imagine Love. So I'm glad that we don't have to put that in our minds that we are going to draft a running back, because I feel like that would tick off a lot of fans.
Yeah, and this is where also the George Pickens thing is so huge, where, and I wouldn't say vacillated, because I am definitely on the side of re-sign or, doing Pickens longer term. But I do see the discussion and the argument on the other side, right? College football is constantly feeding the NFL with really good wide receivers, more wide receivers than any other position that you find in the draft each and every year. Thusly making it, some that are available too in free agency, depending on, money and all that. And the debate on this station throughout, Cowboys fans everywhere, okay, could you get somebody that would be cheaper than Pickens? Get another number 2, because if you don't have Pickens, you got big questions at, wide receiver 2.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? How does that affect the running game? It affects really everything. But if you were able to find somebody that was definitely serviceable, better than what you have, at wide receiver 2, if you didn't have Pickens, but able to take that money or some assets and put that towards the defense, yeah, you'd be a little weaker offensively, but
you'd be more balanced overall.
More balanced.
Yeah.
I get that side of it. But I think re-signing Pickens is every bit as big for Javonte Williams, because you, as a defense, you're like, okay, what are we going to try to take away? What are we going to stop? Somewhere there's going to be a hole, and it's going to create opportunity for somebody else when you've got 2 incredible weapons like Pickens and Lamb.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up the point, too, the fact that, what are they going to do at left tackle, and what are they going to do at right tackle? Because if they cut Terrence Steele, they're saving $14 million there. Okay, and I think at this point, he is not the answer at right tackle, too. So whether that's moving Guyton back at his natural position that he played at Oklahoma at the right tackle, then you can play around with Tyler Smith on the other side. You still have Booker, who's had a tremendous rookie season in my eyes. Okay, so there's still some questions to be answered in terms of what you're going to do on the offensive line. I think if we're going offense, I wouldn't be surprised if we do go tackle maybe a little bit earlier than expected, but for the most part, the answers these next few weeks are going to be George Pickens. Is he going to get that long-term deal or not? And then how is this philosophy with Christian Parker going to impact what we're going to do at number 12 and number 20 going into the draft?
Yeah, and I like it being a 3-year deal. I mean, that's kind of standard for an extension, unless you're talking about quarterback or maybe a wide receiver, for sure. Because, he's not old, right? I mean, he turns 26 in April. So at the end of this contract, theoretically, he'll be 29. Somebody that has had, a torn ACL and LCL in his right knee. We know how injuries and mileage goes on these running backs, right? We saw Ezekiel Elliott just fall off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Williams, I don't know if he'll be as good as he was last year going into next year, but I think for the price, it was the right move. And to be perfectly honest, I'm just happy to see them make a move and not string this out like they have on so many.
It's
other
almost like
things.
people forgot about Javonte Williams because of this whole George Pickens buzz.
Yeah.
So it's very telling that they got it done when they needed to. And I was thinking about this because now that Javonte Williams got his money, these are scheduled to be the free agents at running back. So Kenneth Walker, obviously Super Bowl MVP. I think Seattle is going to take care and bring him back. I think you got to after what he did. Okay, so then
I don't know.
You don't think so? You think someone else is going to give him the bag?
I don't think he's going to get a bag. I mean, I think he's going to get, not a big bag. I think he'll get a bag. I mean, there's a reason why he was the number 2 running back, on that team. And he did look great. But teams, I think, now are a little bit reticent to do so with running backs or even with somebody that just gets on a heater at the end of the year. Take nothing away from what he did, but, I think Schneider is kind of shrewd in Seattle, and I think it was the right move not to tag him, giving them, more flexibility. I think there's a possibility that he definitely comes back, but I don't think it will be for the money that he's, really seeking, because whom else could it be? I think Kansas City is kind of eyeing Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
I would believe that they were, but it's no guarantee that he, gets to them. So do they go, but do you think they're going to go after Kenneth Walker as like a big free agent signing? I don't know.
They restructured Mahomes' contract, so are they going to be? I think they're going to be aggressive this offseason. But the point I was trying to make here was, I think that Kenneth Walker is probably would be off the mound for the Cowboys if they didn't pay Javonte Williams. So that would leave their options being Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Tyler Algier, Rico Dowdle, and J.K. Dobbins. So I'm glad that they did bring Javonte Williams back and get that taken care of, because if they would have let him walk, I think it would have been a downgrade out of these other people in the free agents list.
Where do you think that they're going to go from here? Logan Wilson was another, news piece earlier this week. Where do you think they're going?
In terms of?
Just in general in free agency. You think that are they setting themselves up for some sort of move? But, we talked, a lot of this news, surrounding Max Crosby, and the Cowboys are very much in the discussion. I wonder how much they, how hard they really look at doing something like that for Max Crosby.
Yeah, no, and CNA and I talked about this yesterday, and what I said was, look, the Raiders are seeking multiple first-round picks for Max Crosby. That's a little bit too expensive for
They're not getting it.
Yeah, they're not getting that.
But they don't have to get rid of him either.
No.
So they could say, hey, we want him here, but
But the Cowboys shouldn't.
So for a trade, we're only taking this.
But the Cowboys shouldn't also, jump the gun on trying to give them multiple firsts for Max Crosby, because I don't think that's worth the gamble for me. And Max Crosby, he's had some injury history, but to me, it's like, okay, you got rid of Micah Parsons for multiple firsts, so why would you trade multiple firsts again to get Max Crosby? At that point, it's like you could have just kept Micah Parsons.
Well,
it's a different situation, I understand, but to me, it's like if you're trading multiple firsts for Max Crosby, you're already creating another. You're solving one problem but opening up another, I think.
A few days ago, you had the ESPN guys, Fowler, Dan Graziano, Ryan McFadden, Ben Solak, and Seth Walder, all coming together for this piece on the trade offers for Max Crosby, right? The 4 potential. And then this kind of goes back into the George Pickens, because Dan Graziano said, the Cowboys trading Pickens and their number 20 pick in the first round, getting Crosby.
39th, right? Or was it 36th?
36.
Yeah.
See, this goes into the question that has been talked about. Okay, yeah, you'd love to have Pickens back. You'd love to be as dynamic on offense as you were last year, but could you sacrifice a little of that and maybe get a wide receiver in the draft, maybe with that second-round pick, but also get Max Crosby? That I don't hate it. If it was done, I'd be like, that's a shrewd move, because it's easy to look at it and go, oh, you can't get rid of Pickens. Look how great he was. And, he's a number one. You're really basically playing with 2 number ones, and we all get excited about watching exciting offense and all that, but maybe you could say, well, was it this year where he was out there with something to prove because he knew his contract was up?
Yeah.
And does signing him maybe doesn't give him keep him as motivated as he was this year? I don't know. I don't know the guy.
But the counter to that too is if you bring Max Crosby in, he's still going to owe you $30 million. So he's going to be expensive as well. Mm-hmm. And it's is that worth giving up number 20th to get Max Crosby and also lose Pickens in the process?
You're basically trading salaries, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exact numbers, but, it's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Between Max Crosby and what Pickens, is going to get.
I guess the question people should be asking themselves in that sense is getting Max Crosby worth losing George Pickens? Because at that point, because a lot of people seem to be, okay, this is really Max Crosby versus George Pickens, right? So are they okay with that? And if you're okay with that, then all power to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still very indifferent.
It's going to be interesting. I still think that they'll screw it up some way or another and just wait, until basically, well, I mean, they can't wait forever when it comes to the franchise tag. So that might force their hand a little bit more. But just based on what we have seen in recent history, with how they've handled contracts and this stuff, that they will probably find a way to, screw it up. All right. Eric has got one player that he would love to see paired with Cooper Flagg, and taking a look back at some big moments from yesterday. That's all coming up next here on The Fan.
This is Ryan Watson, owner of Alliance.
105.3 The Fan is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. If you're in the market to upgrade your vehicle, get to Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine, #1 Chevy dealership in the world, 3 years straight. They've got more new Chevys than anyone, all priced to sell. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Relax and enjoy the difference. Based on new Chevy registrations 2023 through 2025.
The player Eric Caceres once paired with Cooper Flagg next season coming right up. With Eric, I'm Will Chambers here on this Sunday morning, a gold morning for the U.S. men's hockey team as they take out Canada 2-1 in overtime in an absolutely thrilling gold medal game in the Winter Olympics. Dylan Moore back in the Pimp Cup. Appreciate you hanging with us. Everybody's got to be feeling good on this Sunday now after that hockey game this morning. 877-881-1053. Hit us up on the, we'll open up the Franklin Frankel Injury Attorneys fan text. Boy, what a day yesterday if you're a college basketball fan.
Oh, man.
Unless you're a Kentucky or Kansas fan.
Oh.
For those of you that know people at this station. Dude, Cincinnati scored 48 points in the second half.
That's insane.
I mean, you don't go into Fog Allen and do that. That's, oh my goodness. I'm sure our boy Fred was very, very pleased with that. But the marquee matchups were obviously #1 Michigan, #3 Duke at the Edward Jones Capitol Showcase in Washington, D.C., with Duke doing Duke stuff. So Duke.
They find a way every year.
They just do. They just win. They're so annoyingly good. 68-63. Both, two big physical teams. Cameron Boozer was terrific. He hit a late three to put the Blue Devils up by 6. They end up winning by 5. Taking out the #1 team in the land. You also had the #2 team in the land go down. That's because former #1 Arizona went into Houston and beat the Cougars 73-66. It was Houston was, they were hanging in there. It looked like, they're at home. Are they going to make a run? They got up by 2, and then all of a sudden, with about 5 minutes remaining, Arizona scored the next 12 points. And, despite what happened yesterday, I don't think anything's going to change my mind unless there's an injury to either team. Arizona and Michigan, to me, are still the best teams in the country. But, man, I'm just going to look at the rankings here. Well, I mean, I know there's 5 teams in the Big 12 alone that I think, could win the title.
Big 12 basketball, typical.
But then Duke and UConn, absolutely. I have not been as big of a believer in Purdue, but look, they're 21-4. Florida is starting to look, again, not quite as good as they were last year, but every bit the title contender. I think we're going into an NCAA tournament that is, Michigan, Arizona are the teams to beat, but still, in my estimation, pretty wide open.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, I'm glad that we have this parity right now in college basketball because I feel like, and we don't have to get into a rant here, but I feel like the product in the NBA is just dying right now. I just don't like what they're doing. And there's, we'll talk a little bit more about, everything with the Mavs and tanking and, if that's becoming a problem a little bit later on in the show. But the product right now in college basketball is just absolutely outstanding. I mean, this draft class is phenomenal. And you have a bunch of freshmen that are just, from 1 to 10 on looking at all the prospects right now, they could go in there and be an all-star type player day one for a lot of these franchises. And I'm talking about the NBA. So I think, having that balanced and spread out throughout the whole college basketball, it creates so much parity and makes it so much more watchable. And there's about, like you said, maybe 5 to 6 teams where you're looking at, man, they could win the whole thing.
Yeah. To me, it's always been very simplistic. I've always said that the reason why I mean, outside the obvious stuff with college basketball, right? The pageantry, the passion that you feel for it because it hits close to home, right? It's the school you went to, or the state or the area you grew up in. That you just, I don't know. There seems to be always like a stronger tie to a college basketball team, but there's more movement.
Yeah.
On a college basketball floor than there is on an NBA floor. And that's what I've always liked more about the college game.
And atmosphere, too. Can't forget about that.
Atmosphere is incredible. That being said, they could be rough watches. I know watching my squad, it's just like, oh, God, even in some wins, I'm like, God, it's so ugly. I mean, for, Duke and Michigan's part, it was... Both teams really struggled shooting the ball from three. But I'm with you as far as, on the NBA. But I think I've kind of always felt that way, in regards to the two. But
so you're like, you already knew. You just been waiting for it. It ain't surprising.
Look, I have a stronger tie to, the Kentucky Wildcats than I do to an NBA team. Mainly because mine has sucked for the better part of 20 years. Now, that being said, I'm interested to hear who the player that you would love to see paired with the Mavericks, Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, so you might be thinking, can the Mavs realistically get lucky again and get number one and land Darren Peterson? But Darren Peterson
Whoa. Darren's going to have to change a lot of stuff before he becomes consensus number one.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, has he kind of played himself out? Or maybe not played himself out?
I think there's a better way to put it, yes.
Of number one pick. But, the easy answer would be like, Eric's going to say Darren Peterson, right? The best guard, the best player in the whole draft. Why would not pair him with Cooper Flagg? Mavs got to get number one overall pick. Maybe they're thinking Kingston Flemings. That dude out of Houston's pretty special himself. 6'4" guard as well. Maybe Mikael Brown Jr. He's been stepping up for Louisville. They have a good program always. Keaton Wagler.
Easy over there.
Yeah, oh, you talking about Louisville?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't go to there. Yeah. But, no, neither of those guys,
that's a trigger word.
Neither of those guys, I think, should be paired with Cooper Flagg. In fact, the prospect that I am is opening my eyes every single game, and it seems like by game perspective, it's getting better and better. And the Mavs are projected number 7 overall, and they don't even have the Mavs taking this guy. He's projected number 9 right now to go to the Chicago Bulls, and I hope not. Arkansas's Darius Acuff Jr.
Oh, my God. I'm looking at him right now. He is awesome.
He is phenomenal.
He is awesome.
And you know what?
If you have not watched Arkansas play this year,
did you watch the game against Bama the other night?
50? Yeah.
49. Yeah. He had 49, and they lost, and it was double OT on Wednesday night against Alabama, which that game was ridiculous, back and forth, but he single-handedly kept them in the game. 49, 5-5, 59% shooting, 6 from 10 from 3, had 11 for 12 from free throws, 75.9 true shooting percentage. This kid is special. And I was watching a little bit of the tape because I'm like, man, if this guy's going to be a future Mav, I got to watch him a little bit more, right? He moves a lot like, and people have been comparing it to him, even analysts, Stephon Marbury. Mm-hmm. So they've been, they've been doing that NBA comparison. And then I was like, you know what? Okay, everybody's saying he moves like him, he plays like him, right? Shout out Georgia Tech. But I wanted to look at maybe more of a modern day, NBA player. Is there a player in the NBA that plays just like him? He's a lot like Jalen Brunson. He's a smaller guard. And it's crazy because in this point in today's NBA, 6'3" is considered small for a guard. That's on the smaller side.
Yeah,
and he's 6'3".
Right.
So I understand that there's concerns about him being maybe that all-star upside type of player that maybe a Keaton Wagler who's a little bigger, 6'6".
Look, I'm with you, though.
Yeah.
I really am, because we have to start looking beyond Kyrie, at the point guard position.
There has to be
with
the future plan behind after Kyrie.
This kid, he shoots 50% from the field, all right?
He's going to be the SEC Player of the Year as a true freshman.
You get that from forwards. from big men in college basketball. You don't really get it from guards. He shoots 50.5% and 44% from three. I think he's sensational.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I think that you bring up the biggest part of it, the biggest thing, that you go, oh, 6'3".
Yeah.
But
see, the thing is, Jalen Brunson, is 6'2", 6'1", and he made it work. Now, Jalen Brunson's a little bit stronger, a little bigger frame.
He is a total outlier, though.
And the thing about Jalen Brunson, it took a little bit of time, but he does a really good job at getting to his spots, and that's what Darius Acuff does. So when I watch them play, they're very similar on getting inside, using basketball IQ. They have a quick first step, so they're good with their footwork, but they're not going to wow you with their athleticism. They're not going to wow you with their playmaking. They're not going to wow you with just explosive dunking. They're not that type of prospect. But one thing that they can do is they can get to their spot inside the paint, and they can score. When they go on the heater, they get into their rhythm. They can score from anywhere. They're a three-level scorer, and that's what Darius Acuff does really good. And I think the most underrated part about his game is his basketball IQ. He does not turn the ball over. And the Mavs, right now, watching them play night in and night out, they turn the ball over like crazy. So I want a player that can come in, have good IQ, doesn't turn the ball over, can score from three levels. He's everything I want in a prospect. Pair him up with Cooper Flagg. Let's go.
I don't hate it. I think he's terrific. I got to give the credit to Mikel Brown. I said this earlier in the year. When they beat Kentucky, I was like, that kid is good. I mean, he dropped, I think 30 or close to 30 on us, and he's 6'5". He's an awfully good player. I think that translates more to the NBA just from a size standpoint. But again, going back to what I was saying a minute ago, you got a point guard shooting 50% from the field.
As a true freshman,
That's awfully good. Brown had 45 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals a little bit, just a couple of weeks ago when Louisville played NC State. So
the Mavs have some options.
Yeah. No doubt about it. We'll talk a little bit more in the NBA, including the tanking. There was a very good idea. I was thinking about this type of thing, but Tim Bontemps actually capsulized it much better. His idea was a much better version of what I was thinking. So we'll have that for you coming up at 12:20. But we open up hour number 2 next with the Olympics closing out today. The Americans winning gold in in men's hockey. But the highlights from yesterday, but over the last couple weeks as we open up hour 2 next here on The Fan.
K&M Leasing Studios. Thanks for turning it on, leaving it on. 105.3 The Fan.
Hour 2 on this Sunday morning, and it is a golden morning for the U.S. men's hockey team as they take home the big prize in the Winter Olympics in Milan for the first time since 1980. The men's team wins gold. Boy, what a morning. What a way to kick off year 250, huh? Will Chambers, Eric Caceres with Dylon. Speaking of college basketball that we yesterday, we're going to talk more about this historic feat for the U.S. men's hockey team. We're going to do so. We'll do that coming up next segment because the boss, the hockey hawk himself, Gavin Spittle, will be in here. So we'll talk to him about that. Dylan, you said that Connor McDavid, he won an MVP. I didn't even know they did MVPs.
A tournament MVP. It's like for the whole tournament.
That's pretty cool.
But he kind of got second, so does it really matter?
Yeah.
And how is Connor Hellebuck not the MVP?
Yeah, that's a good question.
They should have tournament, or they had tournament MVP. They should have
had some big time goals.
What did they? Finals MVP, I guess, or championship MVP, because that would have went to him.
Yeah, but in the Olympics, I feel like you play for a medal. That's it.
I mean, if they're going to have a Connor McDavid be tournament MVP, I don't know. Or just don't do it at all. It's the Olympics, like you said.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this as we opened up the show that, boy, it felt like, and maybe this is just me, an 877-881-1053. Because, one thing I definitely don't want to be looked at as America bashing. I didn't even realize, because I honestly, over the last, couple years, I haven't paid to, barely moments of what's happening in politics. I don't care anymore. I just don't care. Whatever. And, I don't know. I guess there was a couple of them that, I've been... I don't even know what they were critical of. All I know is I heard people yeah, screw her, screw this. I'm just okay, whatever. I just, from a standpoint of what I was looking forward to coming into this, was, the quad god, right? The only one, I think he's the only one that does a quadruple axle. I think some of them do Lutz. The axle is one where you swing your leg up, forward and then do, 4.5 rotations. So Ilya Melanin, I think it was the only one that does that. Amber Green on the women's side, clearly disappointments because Melanin was definitely a heavy favorite. I believe Amber Green, Plano Zone, who just had some sensational moments, and I thought it was such heartbreak watching her have what really just kind of looked like a brain fart after in that short program. But it's also, like I said, you had Michaela Schifrin, who had finished very poorly before she ended up taking gold in another, in that, I think it's the long slalom. But she wins everything, absolutely everything. And then coming to the Olympics after what happened 4 years ago in Beijing. So there have been, you mentioned Lindsey Vonn, but to me that was more kind of tragic in a sense because of the injury than a disappointment. But there have been some letdowns, it feels like, with some of the biggest stars, but there have been some just really incredible firsts for the Americans. Or anything on how you feel? Have you been watching much of it?
Yeah, and I was telling CA this is it's hard for me because I'm trying to learn the I guess the athletes their background because that's me. It's if I'm gonna because I don't pay attention enough to the actual individual sports for the Winter Olympics. So when I watch it, it's always fascinating to me because I'm like, oh, where did this person come from? What was their background?
NBC does. This is where they're at their best. This is what NBC does the best. Because I think it's because of how they have produced, so much Olympics.
Absolutely,
in recent memory, we're back. I think CBS had it for quite a while, but NBC's had it. And then when you watch the Kentucky Derby, on how they, and all the features for those hours of lead up, until the race. They really do that so well. So I enjoy watching those elements of it. There are things they annoy me with. I think they said quad god 100 times in 1 hour. I was like, stop.
But you make a good point, like them showcasing like the background and like where they're from, because I feel like after watching a certain event, it's like, man, I feel like I've been watching this athlete compete for years, and it's like it's their first time ever seeing them. So it's it's always really good A1 coverage. And
they're young, most of them.
Yeah,
but not all of them. How about these for some American firsts in these 2026 Winter Olympics? Elena Myers-Taylor, at 41, became the oldest American ever to win an individual gold medal in the women's monobob. Didn't know that was a word. I was just like, individual bobsled. That might be new for this Olympics. I don't know. At 54, Rick Ruohonen, I have no clue if that's right, became the oldest American to compete in a Winter Olympics because he was in men's curling. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise there.
Yo, curling is actually the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, it's like...
Did you see the Wisconsin curling that went viral the last couple days? Where they're firing cases of beer across, the iced
I haven't seen it, but I don't doubt it. But I just think it's crazy because, when I was watching, because I was in Boston last week, and I was watching in the hotel room a lot, and because I've never watched curling before, and just, it's so technical, to me watching it, I'm like, what is going on? And then I thought, the commentators were, the ones talking. It's actually the coaches or the people around them that are, speaking to them, and I've never seen anything like that. It was wild.
My takeaway from curling in these Olympics was it seemed to be a never-ending odyssey for that competition. And I know that they have teams and mixed and all this stuff, but we watched the opening ceremony and watched curling that night, and there was curling going on yesterday. It went on the entirety of the Olympics. I'm like, when the hell is this over?
Yeah. No, it's continuous. It keeps going.
Women's dual moguls, Jalen Koff and Elizabeth Lemley won the first silver and bronze medals in this event. Of course, it made its official debut in 2026 Winter Olympic Games. I love the mixed free skiing. I thought it was really cool. I love the integration of, men's and women's teams together competing. I didn't know how I was going to feel about that. I thought it was awesome. I don't know. The men's big air, Mac Forehand, became the first Connecticut-born athlete to medal at the Winter Games with silver. I tell you what, too, watching that team event yesterday, and the Americans after, China, faltered with their last two jumps, I thought that was just incredible. That was so much fun. Let's see, what else was the first here? I think the Milan Cortina Games marked the first time that the U.S. men's and women's teams won gold at the same Olympics, of course, in U.S. hockey. So those are just, a few of the first that you have for the Americans in these Olympics. Jordan Stolz, man, this would have been fun. He missed out on his fourth Olympic speed skating medal. He'd be the first man since 1994 to collect 3 gold medals in the long track speed skating at one Olympics, but he finished fourth. So just with 2 there. Bergsma, that's who won it. Jorrit Bergsma, the Netherlands. Dude with a mullet. Oldest man to win a speed skating gold.
How old?
40.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah. That's crazy stuff there. Hillary Knight notched 33 career Olympic points. That sets the record for the most in USA Olympic history. That's wild. I mean, the women's hockey team, God, they were just dominant throughout. And, but, still, at the very end, as you'd expect with the competition, getting much tougher, having to come back a couple of times. The women's curling team tied the record for most wins in a round-robin play for the United States. as they had 6 wins. And Michaela Schifrin, who I talked about before, she won her 3rd Olympic gold medal in women's slalom, the most Olympic alpine gold medals won by any American skier. And, I mean, to go just looking at her greatness, I said that there's been disappointment with Schifrin, right? And that first slalom event where I think she finished, like, at the bottom with what happened. And she had that disappointment 4 years ago, yet she still has more alpine gold medals than any other American skier. I mean, that is awfully, awfully impressive. What this controversy, I thought was funny. Speaking of like curling, Canada's Olympic CEO defends the curling team with the double touching. Now that you're now fully integrated into the world of curling.
Oh, goodness.
What were your thoughts on the double touching? I'm like, what exactly is the problem here? I was like, is it legal or is it illegal?
Yeah.
And if it's illegal, why are they not penalized for this? And if it's, because he called it like a foot fault in tennis or traveling in basketball. Well,
So that would be a penalty.
I'm no rules analyst,
yeah.
but I do believe that those are illegal in their respective sports.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So they didn't so they didn't penalize it.
Yeah. He said it wasn't cheating. For me, it's a foot fault in tennis. If LeBron James takes 4 steps on the way to the hoop, I wouldn't say LeBron James is a cheater. I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from with that, but I love these like little
I guess it's a
controversies
little
in there. I did, there's a lot of this debate and discussion around Eileen Gu. She has her 6th Olympic medal in her career. Just unbelievable. But, American born, but competing for her mother's homeland of China. Not the first, not the only American born athlete to compete for their other country or for another country. And I know this is, controversial, and there are even people that hate it or don't like it. I don't have that type of emotion to it, but I will say I do find it odd. Now look, you have different ethnicities that have a very, very strong connection to their ancestry, but, recent, it's their mother's homeland. Having not experienced that or being that way, I don't know it, so I don't want to, be out of pocket with it as to how these people may feel, but I do find it kind of odd just that, not necessarily that they do it, but just the fact that it's done quite a bit more than I would have expected.
The 972 is saying it's illegal to touch it after it crosses the line.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have televisions, we have video footage. This is like the same problem I have in our American main sports, like when it comes to using replay. I'm like, can you see it? Did they do it?
Yeah.
Did they not do it? Let's move forward. Let's keep it moving, people. Let's go. These are all in 4K or 8K, even though they don't broadcast any of this crap. You can buy an 8K TV. How much have we even seen that's broadcast in 4K? But either way, they can see it. I don't really, I
guess the instant replay and officials didn't catch it, so that's why I guess that was the controversy there.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I
don't know how you missed that, but
yeah. So, but anyway, the big news of the day, the United States taking gold against Canada just a few minutes before we took the air here today at 10 o'clock. The United States defeated Canada 2-1 in overtime. Boy, I got to say, I'm a huge fan of the 3-on-3 overtime. Now, I am not saying that should be implemented in any way, shape, or form in the NHL. Maybe if you actually, yes, I'll say at some point, because I don't want to see somebody die of exhaustion in like a triple overtime playoff game. Like maybe if we get to that point, we'll ask Spittle this here in a few minutes. Maybe then I'd say, can we just go to like 3-on-3 so these guys don't die out there and get this game over with, because they all the overtimes, they end, quickly with how much room you have out there in the ice, and it is wildly entertaining. It was just a minute 40 or so into it when Jack Hughes scored the game-winning goal. Just huge for the U.S. men's hockey. Good stuff there. Yeah, stick it to Russia and Canada and Sweden and Finland. We're pretty great, too. Let's talk more hockey. Let's talk more U.S. men's hockey. Let's do that with the boss coming up next here on The Fan.
When you're a friend.
33. With Frankel & Frankel, there's never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel & Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
Always nice when we get the boss in here talking a little hockey. It's Will Chambers, Eric Caceres here on this golden Sunday morning here on 105.3 The Fan with Dylan Moore back in the Pim Cup, and appreciate you hanging with us as we close out these 2026 Winter Games. The Hockey Hawks, Spits and Suds, the podcast, you know it. Gavin Spittle's in here. What a morning for American hockey, huh?
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is like generational. Like, the effects of this will go for years upon years. There are kids watching today that will be playing in the NHL because of this game.
You know, I still don't know how I feel about it when Eric asked me earlier if I knew where I was the last time the men's team won hockey gold. And I was like, yeah, I am quite a bit older. Not quite that old.
That's on me.
Yes.
I thought you would have been at least 4 or 5.
No.
I was 9 years old. I was watching it over my neighbor's house, had no idea it was taped. As far as USA versus Russia, I watched the gold medal game, and once again, we need to remind everyone, the greatest upset in hockey history was not actually a gold medal game.
We brought it up earlier. I was
amazing.
like, that wasn't, I think it's the greatest upset in the history of sport.
Yes.
I don't know of one that I'm sure we could come up with some names there on that. And that was certainly not the case, with this tournament, as the Americans came in as really the second favorite.
Yes.
But and we were talking a lot of things during the break, and one of them being, when you look at it from a soccer perspective and what's missing there, with American-born players and the American, World Cup not being a factor, really, the American team in that, wanting that so bad that you have here in this country now the youth hockey here in DFW. It's so big, but you're making a point that in so many different markets, these kids and where they come from and how that builds up the sport there, and how that they have been winning a lot internationally at a junior level.
Right. The 1980 team was primarily focused on Michigan, Minnesota, and New England.
Yeah.
Or New York, too, upstate New York. That's where the players came from. The captain of the United States, Austin Matthews, is from Arizona. Tage Thompson is from Arizona. Hannah Bilka, who just won for the women, is from Capel, Texas. Mm-hmm. Had Seth Jones not got injured just prior to the Olympic Games, he would have been the second gold medalist from DFW, born in Arlington, from Frisco. The players that are coming through this Dallas Stars development system right now, and you can say the same thing. You can say the Coyotes didn't work. Austin Matthews is not playing without the Arizona Coyotes. Mm-hmm. Putting these teams in these non-hockey markets have made a ton of difference in Florida development hockey, in Texas development hockey, in Arizona, these non-traditional hockey markets. I talked to someone earlier in the year. They said Utah is so hot right now for hockey. You can't even get rink time. Like, you have to do it in advance because the Utah Hockey Club. So it's amazing. And you look at the USA development system and how dialed in they are right now. And it's not just today. And it's not just on Friday with the women's game. It is, or was it Thursday or Friday? Well, whatever. They won the gold medal. But you look at USA winning World Juniors 2 years in a row. USA just captures its first World Championships. And you look at these players that are coming through the system. J.P. Hurlburt is from Allen, Texas. He will be a top 15 pick in the NHL draft this year from Allen, Texas. So I think it's awesome, and I just think they're dialed in right now. And and then you look at the emergence of college hockey and the rumors of Oklahoma State now getting a Division I hockey team, and Penn State, what they just did with the Stadium Series. It's exploding, and it's great. It's awesome. And yeah, I think that hopefully soccer will do the same. And it might take a USA men's run, because we've seen the emergence. Look how long the females have had success in Olympic and overall World Cup soccer. And, you go back to the Brandi Chastains and the Mia Hamms. That's what started it. Mm-hmm. So today started a next generation. And I think that's what's so awesome when you take a step back and you say, wow, what an impact today has made, specifically against Canada. who is your arch rival in hockey on every single level. And all the interviews I've ever done with Spitz and Suds, where people put on that USA or Canadian sweater, it is by far one of the most important aspects of their life. They know exactly where that sweater is, and they will forever hold that sweater no matter what level.
Yeah, Eric brought up, on the mindset, wonder what it's like for these players to now all of a sudden, take a break in the middle of the season. This is unique. Baseball has a little bit, I think, with, I don't know necessarily the Olympics, but when they do whatever that tournament that they do every couple of years, where that kind of plays into the season. But be that as it may, to go back and now have to go back to work. And then, we're particularly looking at it from, Mika Renton perspective and what that's like. But I guess, to your point on that, on how they feel about it, that this is, a chance to, play for your country is something that I'm sure takes, precedent over to whatever could be happening.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted to see Jake Ottinger, and I can understand that. Yeah. But it's okay. I promise you, Jake Ottinger is happy today. He knows where he stands. He knows where he stands in the pecking order, and it's up to Jake Ottinger to change that pecking order. So he's really happy. To be the third goalie on Team USA is quite the accomplishment. So I think Stars fans need to take a step back, and it's okay to say, I still think Jason Robertson should have been in the Olympics. But if you really want to debate me, then talk Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield, who also didn't get in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. There are other players from other teams that also. So I absolutely love the Stars' passion. But you know what? Your player was on a gold medal team, and you should be happy about that.
And Hellebuck was absolutely sensational today.
7 of Dallas Stars players were in the Olympics, 6 medaled. That's quite impressive. And by the way, Connor Hellebuck, former Odessa Jackalope. So Connor Hellebuck has Texas ties too. Mm-hmm. And for Connor Hellebuck, let's talk about it from a Dallas-Fort Worth perspective. Early Dirk, what couldn't he do? Couldn't win the big one. Exactly. Connor Hellebuck is probably the best player in hockey, never been able to take his team to the next round. Okay? So it was like, well, Hellebuck's going to crash during the playoffs. Hellebuck's going to do this. And then Four Nations played great, but they lost. Now, Hellebuck stole the show. And I am so happy because to me, you can never say anything about Connor Hellebuck again. Stanley Cup's amazing. Absolutely. Everyone wants to win a Stanley Cup. But that man put the nation on his shoulders. That's special.
That's awesome.
And
that's pressure.
46 years later to the day. 46 years to the day.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Isn't that crazy?
Absolutely.
Full circle moment.
Yeah, and you go back and what happened to the Russians and the Finns back in 1980. They were goalied by Jim Craig.
Yeah.
In this tournament, teams were goalied by Connor Hellebuck. He was that good, and he is that good, and it's okay to say that. And it's okay to hope that the Stars beat Winnipeg. But you know what? Today it's okay to say, that's my guy. And I think that's one of the things, like we're so team-orientated. I promise you that everyone's celebrating and popping Frosties right now. It's not about the Dallas Stars, the Winnipeg Jets and stuff. But the other perspective that you should look at today, from a Dallas Stars perspective, who scored the first goal? Minnesota Wild's Matt Boldy. Who was amazing? Connor Hellebuck with the Winnipeg Jets. You look at one of the Hughes, who scored the overtime goal the other day, Quinn. Who does he play for? The Minnesota Wild. Obviously, we have Jake Ottinger. And then you look at how prominent our Finns were in this tournament. The Central Division in the NHL in which the Stars play is absolutely amazing.
I was thinking, first off, the 3-on-3 is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. Is it crazy to be like, can we get rid of the shootout and just do some 3-on-3?
Well, I think two things might come from this Olympic game. One is, do you change the scoring system? In other words, in Olympics, you go 3-2-1. As far as, so there's this theory that teams are playing to get to the shootout. Okay? If you give an extra point to a regular season win, that puts a lot more emphasis to pressing at the end, specifically when you get closer to the playoffs and you need that extra point. So 3 points for a regular season victory, 2 points for an overtime victory, and then 1 point for the loser. So that would change. The other thing that could possibly come of this is, and this would have to go through the NHLPA, do you think about maybe extending 3-on-3 for another 2 to 3 minutes and then go to a shootout? That's tough because injuries can happen.
Yeah.
The problem with 3-on-3 is that it's a flip of a coin. If Canada, like going into overtime, I was with a bunch of people and we were sitting around watching, and I said, it's a flip of the coin, boys. Like, if Canada wins at this point, you can't dog the U.S. It's a flip of the coin. It's what the NFL used to be. You know, first possession, go down, score, win. It's like, I don't know what we really could have done.
Josh Allen doesn't touch the ball.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's kind of where it becomes like, I would like to see it a little bit like an Olympics, a gold medal. Let the boys play for 5 more minutes at 5-on-5, or go 4-on-4 for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not to the extreme. I mean, there is middle ground here.
Yeah.
You know, just we like it because it opens the ice more, right? You know, that's what makes it more exciting.
Absolutely. But on that 3-on-3 goal, everyone will be talking about. I mean, terrific job by Zach Werenski, who plays for Columbus. I mean, he's a defenseman, and he wins the puck and gets it over to Hughes for the win. So that's awesome. But Cale Makar pinched in a little too much in the defensive zone, which happens on 3-on-3, and thus the USA was able to go on the breakout. So those are the little details that I love talking about.
Well, how much did they miss Sid today?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, specifically face-off draws. He's so good in the face-off circle. He does so many little things. People don't give him credit for his defensive play. He's a great two-way player. I think they missed him a lot. Was it a difference? We'll never know. But, I mean, just having Sidney Crosby on the ice in big moments, that would be huge. And, you know, you can't really, I mean, there were plays like amazing save by Hellebuck. If you're Devin Taves, who plays for Colorado, and you're like, why didn't that puck go in? It was just an amazing save. Like Nathan McKinnon missed an open net, too. That happens during hockey. It's just at a larger scale right now.
Yeah, we got some Tolos weighing in talking about it. 903 says, not enough has been said about the worldwide Nathan McKinnon's wide open goal miss. Huge letdown for Team Canada.
Yeah, listen, Nathan McKinnon has the best scowl on his face. Like, now Nathan McKinnon, unfortunately for the Dallas Stars, will work out extra hard, and Colorado will be absolutely amazing for the rest of the year. That's what he does. He's a beast, and he's just a machine, and he hates losing, and I love that. But you know who else hates losing? Mikko Rantanen. So, so I think, yeah, technically, but that's a one-timer. It's not like he held the puck. So, yeah, I guess so. I mean, the USA had some moments as well. The bottom line was, I mean, think about it. Canada had an opportunity to go up, and it was actually Charlie McAvoy who was in the net. It went past Hellebuck, and McAvoy stopped it, like around his shoulder. So many little plays during this. And once again, it was 2-1. And that's what I love, is the great game was featured, and it wasn't 6-5. And we need to talk about the USA defense and what Bill Guerin built, the GM, because that defense stopped that high-powered offense. Pretty impressive.
How worried are you on the Mikko thing?
I like how he spoke after the game. So usually if a player speaks after the game, that means, like, you know, the injury's there, but I don't know if it's overly, but yeah. The problem with hockey is either upper body, lower body, and that's all you know.
I know.
So I don't know Radek Fox's status, and I don't know Mikko's status, but it doesn't seem as though it's season ending. So
no one follows HIPAA more than hockey.
I know. I know. And you know what? You go back and forth, because there is a big part of me that wants to see the amateurs back in, because I don't. You know, they could have put on a show today, too. At the same time, I mean, this is good to see the best on best, and we'll see it again in the Four Nations.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
What a morning. What a way to kick off year 250, huh?
Yeah, I think it's really special. I mean, it's if you're an American right now, this is amazing. Like, it's awesome to see hockey featured like it is, and it's awesome. I mean, ultimately, you would love to see this on prime time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is something special about waking up early and having your breakfast and coffee and
I know
and watching. And
I got done at work at like 1:30. I'm like, just like, oh my God, it's so early in the morning.
Yeah, it's a little tough, but good that it was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested to see the numbers. And you look at the international, what 4 nations did and how everyone was into it. Now you look at the Olympics and how everyone's into it. People are loving this international competition, and I love it too. So, I mean, back to the grind this week with NHL regular season.
There you go. And also some big stuff here. I mean, we're going to the Combine.
Yeah.
We're a week away from sending our guys out to Surprise for spring training.
Yeah, awesome.
So we got a lot going on. Thank you for coming in.
Stick Tap Boys, thanks for having me on. We're going to go cut a Olympic gold medal edition of Spits and Suds.
All right.
Yeah, we'll be listening.
You know where to find it, wherever you get your podcast. That's Gavin Spittle here on 105.3 The Fan. We'll come back and actually turn our attention to the NFL. One of the biggest news this week, I'll give you my thoughts on the most ridiculous move I think I've ever heard of, but also polling executives, coaches, and players on the top prospects in this upcoming draft. We'll have that for you next year on The Fan. men's hockey team as they defeat Canada in the gold medal game 2-1 in overtime. Afterwards, and it's happened or finished about 5 minutes or so before we came on the air today. So we haven't been able to hear anything since. And, the ceremony of the, the presentation of the medals. But it was really cool to see the honoring of Johnny Gaudreau, who from the Columbus Blue Jackets, who passed away in a car accident last year, being honored, bringing the kids out. And man, God, I'm getting a little choked up. Just the video is on my Twitter feed right now from Adam Schefter, among others. What a moment. What a really cool moment, and a huge day for men's hockey in the United States. What an unbelievable mess with the Chicago Bears.
Oh,
and
yeah.
in this whole stadium thing. This could only happen in Illinois, where the politics there are about as gangster as they get anywhere in the country, but the Bears are certainly playing their gangster role in all this, too. To catch you up on it, and I'll just, try to be as brief as possible for those of you that may not know all that's been going on. The Bears obviously need to upgrade from Soldier Field. And as with every other NFL franchise, the goal into getting a new stadium is also to bring in a Super Bowl. In fact, I think it's kind of a bylaw, guideline, however you want to call it, that if you are doing a new stadium, that I think it has to be capable of hosting a Super Bowl, which means if you're doing it, in the Midwest, the Northeast, Northwest, you would have to do a dome, clearly. So, the Bears have been looking at it. They brought in Kevin Warren, who used to be the president of the Big Ten, was also with the Minnesota Vikings when they had gotten their stadium deal done with U.S. Bank in U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And, boy, he's done a bang-up job. So they purchased land in Arlington Heights, which is actually where my family's from. It's a northwest suburb, I want to say, from my memory, 25 minutes or so from downtown. So definitely not, with the skyline in view. But it's where the former Arlington race course, the horse racing track, used to be. They bought that whole area. They're going to build it up, all that. That seemed to kind of fall through because the Bears were saying, all right, well, we're going to pay for the whole stadium. Like, we're funding it. No tax money. It's no public funding on it. But there's also infrastructure that needs to be done if you're building this whole area out, right? And Arlington Heights and, state of Illinois wanted, the Bears to fit, the bill for that as well. And they're like, no. So that fell apart. Well, now it's almost been this leveraging places in Indiana. And the latest this week was it being in Hammond, Indiana. Yeah. All right. First off, those little outskirts of Houston, like those industrial areas? That's what Hammond looks like. Not exactly picturesque, and no offense to any, Hammond residents or natives, but now it is closer to downtown Chicago than Arlington Heights is, but be that as it may, whatever. This is what happened this week. So Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, he and the legislature in Champaign, Illinois, have been working on a bill with the Chicago Bears to keep the Bears in Chicago. On, I believe it was Thursday morning, they were scheduled to have a release of this bill, or to introduce it. The Bears at the 11th hour said, okay, let's not do that yet. Let's postpone this just a little bit, just because we want to work just on minor details on this. That's what they told Pritzker. Well, they're supposed to have a meeting Thursday morning. Well, Kevin Warren, the Bears, he didn't even show up to the meeting. Just no shows. And then the Bears, / Warren released the statement saying that they are committed to the due diligence of I'll say it, quote, committed to finishing the remaining site-specific necessary due diligence to support our vision to build a world-class stadium near the Wolf Lake area in Hammond, Indiana. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Say what you will if you don't like Pritzker as a politician, or like I just said, Illinois politics is absurd. Chicago, it's even worse. It is so corrupt. But damn, dude, you're close on a bill. You worked on it with the Illinois government, the legislature, and then you say, oh, wait, we want to hold off on this, and then you don't show up for the meeting and then release this statement? Come on. And by the way, you know what all this means? Nothing. It's going to end up in Chicago and like Lakefront. This will be at the last second, and it will happen. All of this is so insanely stupid. Like, there's no way the Bears are building their facility in Hammond, Indiana.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I'm looking at pictures right now by Wolf Lake. It does not look like a place that you build a stadium.
No,
there's
man.
There's
just smokestacks everywhere.
I'm looking at right now. There's like a Five Below over there. There's like some restaurants, and then there's just a bunch of. It's like right by Lake Wolf, so it's just flat after that. And then there's like a little service road. It does. I mean, the Hammond Bears. We're gonna call them the Hammond Bears. You can see the Chicago skyline well in the distance from where the stadium is supposed to be, but it's not a Chicago skyline. It doesn't feel like Chicago Bears to me.
No, I agree. And at the end of the day, even if they did, which I firmly believe they won't, I'm still going to watch. They're still going to build it up. It'll be like Bearstown there. But it said it doesn't have the skyline. I'm like...
And you need the tailgating, too. Bears fans go crazy.
Yeah, well, any team in the northern part of the United States goes nuts for, tailgating for their NFL
So, wait,
team.
what's the deal then with Arlington Heights?
Well, that was the original proposal that I was talking about.
I mean, you think they're just going to end up going there then? Or
no, I don't think... No. I mean, the Bears own now that property.
Yeah.
So they've got it. We're kind of running out of time here, so we're gonna save this whole thing on the executives and players. But we had such a good conversation with Spittle on the hockey stuff. No, it's and this is the part where I kind of defended the Bears on it, where pretty much everywhere else. I mean, we all know, we see all these stadiums being built, and it's because they can get more revenue. They're taking in more from concessions and owning certain things, not to go in it, like Legends Hospitality. What Jerry had done was a big piece as to why a lot of owners around the NFL and really across other major sports wanted to build new stadiums because they were getting a bigger piece of the pie because of that. It was something that similar to like the Yankees owning part of the Yes Network and those like type of rights. So it's just, it's a total money grab just as anything else. But in doing so, most of these places leverage the public. We're like, well, we'll move. And they're like, no, don't take our NFL team. We'll pay for it.
Yeah.
And they vote, to get taxed more. But the Bears, and this is not a franchise, the ownership, they don't have like a tech or oil billionaire coming in, to buy the team. This is a team that their wealth comes from just the franchise. This is the old, George Halas who owned the team. So all their money is tied up pretty much, through the franchise. It's not, just another entity of a business person. So the fact that they went in and said no public funding, I'm like, man, good for, that's pretty good. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
And then Arlington or the state of Illinois wanting, the Bears to also pay for all the infrastructure. I'm just like, come on. Are you kidding me? They're paying for the entire stadium. Like, get real here. But these people just trying to out-gangster each other. It's so ridiculous.
214 looks just like Arlington before the Cowboys. No. Arlington had Six Flags, Globe Life Park. There's a lot of good things around there.
And the Rangers there.
Yeah, the Rangers. No, that's not the same thing at all. Not at all. Hammond, Indiana. Go look at the picture of Wolf Lake right now and tell me that's the same thing as Arlington.
Yeah. No. All right, let's hit it into hour number 3. Your latest headlines, the news at noon, more on the NBA and tanking, and we'll close it out with a Rick 6. It's all next here on The Fan.
Driven by our D&M Leasing Studios. Thanks for turning it on, leaving it on. 105.3 The Fan.
2 down, 2 to go before Rangers baseball right here on your home of the Texas Rangers. 105.3 The Fan. Will Chambers, Eric Caceres with Dylan Moore back in the Pimp Cup. Get into some NBA and a good idea, I think, on tanking coming up in about 20 minutes. Rick Six to close out the hour, but your latest headlines, it's the news at noon, and we begin with the biggest story in sports. For the first time in 46 years, in fact, 46 years to the date, the United States men's hockey team has won gold, defeating Canada 2-1 in overtime on a goal. Jack Hughes, the New Jersey Devils center, the 24-year-old, bringing it home, and it sounded... Maybe. I just literally did not even tell him I was going to go to it, and I just kind of tried to lock eyes with him, and it sounded like this.
Rock across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington.
Can we get a collective boo that Connor McDavid won MVP? By the way, the fact that they give out an MVP in an Olympics anything is dumb. You win a medal or you don't win a medal. Like, the MVP, am I the only one that finds that weird?
They had to give a moral victory.
Right.
No, I
There you
agree
go.
with you, though. I
Take
agree
it,
with you.
Canada.
It feels weird.
Yeah, I
Moral
don't
victory
know.
for Canada.
Well, the American hero, Jack Hughes, talking afterwards.
This is all about our country right now. I love the USA. I love my teammates. It's unbelievable. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong. And we have so much support from ex-players. I'm so proud to be American today.
This was such an incredible game to grind out. I mean, you're bleeding right through it just looking at you right now. Can you just talk about how difficult this gold medal was to win?
Unbelievable game by Hellebuck. He was our best player tonight by a mile. Unbelievable game. Unreal game by our team. That's just a ballsy, gutsy win. That's American hockey right there. That's a great Canadian team, but we're USA. We're so proud to be Americans. Tonight was all for the country.
What does this gold medal mean to USA Hockey?
It's everything. Like I said, the USA Hockey Brotherhood means so much. Look at these guys. We're such a team. We've been together for 2 weeks. We're such a team. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong, and we're so proud to win for our country.
Well, that it was a moment, and they, like we were talking about earlier, honoring Johnny Gaudreau afterwards as well. We talked to Gavin Spittle just a little bit ago, the Hockey Hawk recording a gold medal edition of Spits and Suds. So find that later on, maybe later on today, but certainly tomorrow. Connor, I'm sorry, McDavid. Hellebuck was absolutely sensational today. And, you know, Spittle was talking about how the fact, yes, we all want to see Jake Ottinger play. And, you know, there was some argument coming in as to, you know, whom was performing better going into the Olympics. But, man alive, that dude was, you know, carrying the flag today. Go up against that kind of firepower. The Canadians outshot the Americans 42-28 and still got the win.
Yeah, crazy. You know, hey, I'll tell you what. I know I would want to see them play, but if that was the reason I couldn't play, so be it, right? That's a pretty good way to not play.
Like Spittle said, Jake Ottinger's a very happy man now with a gold medal. Medal count, United States now with 33, second behind Norway, who has 41, and ahead of Italy, the host country that has 30 medals. Gold medals, Norway with 18, United States with 12, Italy with 10, Netherlands with 10, but just 20 otherwise. So those are your top gold medal teams from around the world. The Cowboys making news yesterday. They agreed to a 3-year deal with Javonte Williams, guaranteeing him $16 million. The total deal is worth $24 million. That includes a $6 million signing bonus. So a key member of the Cowboys offense in 2025 will return in 2026.
Ready to have him back on the field. was one of the best running backs that we had. Struggled with injuries in his Denver stint. There was a little bit of is he ever going to get back to the same player that he was?
Then he had a career year.
Career year elevated that. So, luck, very very fortunate to have him back. We took care of one issue, and now we can address possibly another. Also, getting George Pickens paid pretty soon.
Another person, player that's at career highs and catches, yards, and touchdowns. So we'll keep you apprised of all that, of course. Later on this week, we'll have Sean and RJ with Bobby and also Brian Broaddus. That will be in Indianapolis for the Scouting Combine. An hour from now, we'll take you through the top prospects according to coaches, executives, and players around the NFL. Let's talk a little golf here. Boy, in between the college basketball and the Olympics yesterday, I definitely had my eye on Riviera and the Genesis Invitational hosted by Tiger Woods. Jacob Bridgman was absolutely on fire. He ended up with a 7 under 64, but that's with a couple of bogeys in there. I mean, this dude was he hit the back nine, and I was like, this dude's going to birdie every single hole. He went birdie, eagle, birdie. But, he's got a sizable lead, a 6-stroke lead over Rory McIlroy, who just couldn't get some putts to fall on that back nine. He bogeyed the par 4 10th, but then came back with a birdie on 11. And in 12, 13, 14 on his entire way in, he had himself in some good situations, just couldn't get the putts to fall. But he's 6 back at 13 under par. And he's really, you got Aldrich Potgieter at 12 under, Aaron Rye 11 under, Kurt Kitayama, Xander Schauffele at 10 under par. Jordan Spieth, who is on the course right now, is just teed off. He started his day at 6 under par, well off, but he started out pretty good because the par 5 first, he eagled. So now 8 under par. So we'll keep a little eye on that. Sean Strickland just dominated, apparently.
Anthony
I'm
Henderson.
reading.
And Hernandez, yeah.
Fluffy,
yeah. They were
Houston.
chanting Fluffy, too, the first round. It didn't last, though.
Yeah. Did you watch this?
I did.
Okay.
I did watch it. It was a good card, honestly. I really liking this UFC on Paramount deal. I think it's so much better than the classic pay-per-view that they always had been doing. We got to get away from pay-per-views. And at that point, everybody was just watching on Stream East anyways. Nobody was going to... it's one thing to have a subscription to something.
Dana White, man.
But it's
Dana
another
White
thing to
way.
pay an extra $80 for a pay-per-view that happens... It ends... By the time it's over, it's already 1 a.m., and everybody's asleep. Unless you're getting Conor McGregor or Alex Poton Pereira fighting every card, that it's not as useful as now. So now what do? They made this Paramount deal to where all you have to do is buy the subscription. You can watch everything: pay-per-views, fight nights, old fights, podcasts, breakdowns. It's a really good deal, and my dad and I have been watching it, and we love it. So it's a lot better.
Speaking of, did you see Conor talking? He said he's teasing the possibility about how, the White House event, UFC's stint in June.
I'll believe it when I see it.
He shared on social media he was willing to accept a no-name opponent and urged the UFC to send him a contract. He has not fought since 2021.
Yeah, and he broke his leg in that fight, by the way, which, I don't know how much you keep up with MMA, but...
I watch him, don't keep up with it.
Well, let me just put it this way. There is maybe one fighter that Conor McGregor could realistically beat in the UFC right now, Michael Chandler. That's the guy that they were trying to get him to fight for the last few years. It never, it fell through, never went. But that's probably the only fight that he's capable of winning. I don't even know if he can win that fight at this point. There's not a person in the top 10. If you're a UFC fan, you pay attention to the rankings. There is not a fighter in the lightweight division, 155 division, that Conor McGregor can beat at this point. Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying. Take my word for it.
I believe you. I totally believe. I mean, when you see these, part of the allure of Conor is all of his character, his personality.
Yeah. I mean, he changed the whole trajectory of UFC. I mean, we will forever respect him for that, but it's time to hang him up. You're not relevant anymore.
Yeah, I mean they've been hung up. I guess it's time to stop reaching for the shorts. Big matchups yesterday in college hoops. Cameron Boozer was terrific.
He's a dog.
Number 3 Duke defeats number 1 Michigan 68-63. Arizona has been number 1 a number of times this year. They went down to Houston and defeated the number 2 team in the country. So on same day, you had 1 and 2 go down. Wildcats winning 73-66. UConn beat Villanova. Cincinnati just ended up blowing the doors off of Kansas in Fog Allen, in Lawrence, 84-68, scoring 48 second-half points.
Goodness.
Good, my. So, still believing that we've got the 2 best teams, Arizona and Michigan. But, man, Duke doing Duke stuff. They're so annoying. Absolutely can't stand them. Some sad news from the NFL. Former wide receiver Rondale Moore was found dead at the age of 25. Police in his hometown of New Albany, Indiana, which is just right across the river from Louisville, where that he was found in a garage with a suspected self-inflicted gunshot wound. And, I mean, I've known about this kid for a while now. I mean, he played high school at Trinity High School, which was not a rival of my high school, but we were, 1 and 2 in the state of Kentucky in state football championships. And then he went on to play for Brian Brom at Purdue. And he's most recently, he was second-round draft pick of the Cardinals back in 2021. He's been battling injuries. He was currently with the Vikings. He missed all of 2024 after dislocating his right knee while he was with the Falcons. Not playing last year, but like I said, with the Vikings, and some sentiments sent by both Brom by the Vikings, but a very sad set of circumstances in my area of the country.
Yeah,
I just hate to hear it.
Yeah, no, hate to hear it. And he's not the only young NFL player that has ended up taking his own life. That seems to be a common theme for a lot of these younger guys. They go through a lot of things mentally. So, condolences and prayers to his family and everybody that was around him. I'm sure he was a great guy. And he's been through a lot. I mean, he was more of a gadget slot type of guy. He's only 5'7". He was a smaller guy, but he just, he had a lot of bad luck with injuries. Multiple knee injuries, was bounced around the league a couple times and just couldn't really find himself on the field because of all the injuries. So it's very heartwarming to see that, all these players are coming out and speaking on this and showing and telling how much of a good teammate that he was. And I love hearing that. So
bad news for a playoff contender in the NBA. The Phoenix Suns had a double overtime win over the Orlando Magic on Saturday, and just wasn't a great day for the Suns. Right now, they're in the 7th spot in the Western Conference, and they announced before the game that they're going to be missing Devin Booker for at least a week because of a right hip strain.
Really? And Dylan Brooks just got hurt too. Yeah.
And in that game with Orlando, he suffered a broken left hand.
Man.
So doctors are going to be meeting today to determine what the timetable is for Dylan Brooks, who's obviously a key member for that group in their playoff run. The Mavericks are in action today at 4 o'clock, taking on the Pacers. We're going to talk a little NBA coming up here in just a couple of minutes, including some, would you call it awkward audio between Shaquille O'Neal and Karl Anthony Towns?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
Cat can be awkward.
Yeah, Cat can be awkward, and then Shaq is very confrontational.
Yes.
I guess is the word to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll let you know. The Diesel.
He definitely will. But it is a golden day for the United States. The men's hockey team defeating Canada in the gold medal game in the Winter Olympics 2-1 in overtime. Outstanding. All right, let's get into a little bit of the NBA. Tanking, obviously, been a big subject of conversation over the course of the last week. Plus, a good idea was raised. We'll get your thoughts on that, as well as, that awkward discussion between those two. We'll have it for you next year on The Fan.
This next segment on 105.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Frankels. If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel first. 214-817-333-3333. With Frankel and Frankel, there's never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel and Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
I see a gaggle of producers back in the Pimp Cup, and that means one thing. Rangers baseball coming your way 2 o'clock today when Eric and I are finished. Will Chambers, Eric Caceres with Dylan Moore back in the Cup on this Golden Sunday for the U.S. men's hockey team for the first time in 46 years to the date.
To the date.
U.S. wins gold in men's hockey in the Winter Olympics. All right, going to talk a little tanking here. Interesting idea from ESPN's Tim Bontemps. Before we do so, you alerted me to something I had not heard, but that there was a moment post-game on Inside the NBA after the Houston Knicks game. The Knicks coming off of
18-point comeback.
Very disappointing loss to Detroit,
yeah.
But then a big comeback win at home over the Rockets.
Yeah, no, 18-point comeback. Jalen Brunson was great. Cat was great, but of course, we know the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, has his little bit of his post-game antics when he's talking to players. Specifically, I think back to Christian Wood, where he says, I'm sorry I wasn't familiar with your game, and that turned into a big meme. But Karl Anthony Towns and Shaq had a little bit of an awkward interaction here last night on Inside the NBA.
We're from Jersey, so I always keep it real. At the beginning of the game, I said you were playing soft because I've seen you at times when you play great. And what you must understand in New York, you need to be great for you guys to win the championship. It's high aspirations. You know, if you guys win the championship, of course they're going to talk about Brunson, but it's you and your play. You have to be dominant. You responded very, very well. You played well. You played in the paint. That's how you should play. You should always play great. Being from Jersey, good ain't good enough. You had a great game tonight. I'm proud of you.
For sure. But what you said, too, is if we win a championship, they could talk about anybody as long as we all get a ring. That's the most important thing.
No, but
I don't care. I don't care about none of that.
No, but you got to play great. 1-2 punch, and you part of that 1-2 punch.
Hell yeah.
Right.
But, I want to make sure we all understand the biggest goal and the main goal here is to win. It don't matter about who gets the credit or whatever.
I just want to be part of the ring. Great. Nope, you got to play great. You get the credit.
I hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Legend, I agree with you.
All right.
I agree with you.
You know I got you, Jersey, baby.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Cat, you guys got...
Okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly what Shaq is doing, and this is what everybody is trying to just extract out of Karl Anthony Towns.
They want to make him a killer.
Dude, be a dog.
Yeah.
Like, be a dog. And he's not.
He's not that type of guy, yeah.
It's part and parcel the reason why I think that the ceiling for the New York Knicks is exactly... I said this last year when they got to the conference final. That's the ceiling for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I know the situation in the East, with the Celtics having been without Tatum. So, Boston's still there, going to get him back. But then Halliburton being out for Indiana and all that, like, well, okay, well, it's really set up. This really is the Knicks' year to make it to the NBA Finals. Well, now Detroit really looks like that team out of the East. I still believe very firmly that because of how they are set up, because of their personnel, as great as I like Jalen or think Brunson is and all that, they're not an NBA Finals team to me.
Yeah. No, fair enough. And Tom Thibodeau, the criticism to him, firing him this past year was like, oh, he overworks his players, right? That's what's like the Knicks. They're playing 42 minutes a game, 45 minutes a game, and those big games, your star players.
He does it. Like, there's no speculation around it.
Exactly.
That's what the dude does.
Yeah, but then they bring in, I'm big on their new head coach. Is it Mike Brown? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Mike Brown, yeah. And, they went through a little bit of a slump. There was that point where Jalen Brunson had to pull that players-only meeting, and, they rallied back from it. But, yeah, there's a clear ceiling with this team in a weaker Eastern Conference. And now the Pistons, who have had your number 3-0 on the season, the Cavs just got James Harden. I know they're in their little bit of their honeymoon phase with James Harden when he goes to a new team and they start playing good, but they haven't lost. They're 5-0 since him. So it's not going to be as easy as we think, the Knicks just getting an easy path to the NBA Finals. And so I think Cat is, he's a good player. He's a team player, but Shaq wants to bring that, like we said, he wants to make him like a dog. He wants you to be a dog. He wants you to be that killer mindset. But the reality is, Will, that some players are just not that way. I don't think Cat is that type of guy. Can he become that guy? I don't know. Will he have to be that guy for them to win in a championship? Maybe. But Shaq is he doesn't care. He's going to let you know every single time.
Oh, yes.
And he just has that type of mindset. So, I don't know. What do you think? It's not that he's wrong. I just don't know if Cat is ever going to become that type of player that Shaq is trying to portray him to be.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what I think. I think with him that he's a really good, skilled player. And what Shaq is trying to tell him and get him to see and believe is that you need to be like that 1-2 punch. You absolutely have to be it.
Yeah.
You don't have, and he's deferring within the conversation, you know? Well, it's not about that. It's about, no, it is that, dude. For you all to win, you do need to do that. It's not about getting the credit. It's about being it.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. You know, I mean, I love him as a player, but then he just leaves so much. It's like a weak bourbon, you know, just leaves you wanting more.
Some players just don't have that extra gear when it matters, too. So.
Right. So since the All-Star break, or just, you know, before the festivities, and Adam Silver, NBA commissioner, was talking about, you know, the tanking situation, right?
Yeah.
You know, you had the fines going to Utah and whatever other team it was.
I think Indiana, too, yeah.
But we all know what it is. We all know why it's done. So you try to think of, like, the solution. And I'm just, you know, thinking in my own head, I'm like, what if you changed it to where the team that misses the playoff with the best record gets the number one pick? And I'm like, no, or has the best odds, you know. I was like, yeah, well, you can't really do that, because then you could have some teams that are just really suppressed.
Are you a fan of the lottery overall?
Yeah, because I heard some people talking this week, like, you know, just do it like the NFL. I'm like, no, the problem is in the NFL, you don't have teams don't really tank, maybe a little bit, but it's at the very end of the year.
I feel like there's more situations in the NFL where they don't tank and they ruin their pick.
Yeah.
Like teams that should be
Look
tanking.
At Houston a few years ago when the Bears got the number one
with
pick.
Lovie Smith, right? Or
it was Lovie.
Lovie Smith, yeah.
So, and it's a little bit different because you've got, you know, many more games and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, okay, how can you fix it to where you're incentivizing teams to win? And then this morning I read Tim Bontemps. And he encapsulated what I was thinking, but his idea was much, much better. He says, in much of the discussion on trying to fix tanking, the focus has been on trying to de-emphasize losing. Each idea, from removing the ability to protect picks in the middle of the draft lottery to abolishing the draft to completely flattening the odds, all would make it less desirable for teams to lose. That's the key part of that.
Yeah.
What none of them do, however, is push them to win, but this plan does. So currently, the draft lottery is determined by which teams have the most losses at the end, and then, you know, that's how you get more ping pong balls, etc. But he says to consider at a certain point in the regular season, say at the All-Star break, especially now because the All-Star break is much later on in the year, it's not the midway point, things would flip. And for the rest of the season, a team's wins would go toward improving its lottery odds instead of it being, you know, just the most losses. So, again, you know, we're just, 2 games out of, from the All-Star break. So I'll just look at Detroit here, 42. So 53 games. So you have 30 left. It's not at the exact midway point. It's a little bit later. So I actually really like that idea.
I like the...
here, let me do this real quick and then get your thoughts on it. Because now you have... So the teams that are out of the playoffs would be the Bucks, Bulls, Wizards, Nets, Pacers, Grizzlies, Mavs, Jazz, Pelicans, Kings. So I guess you want all those teams. Right now, the worst record are the Sacramento Kings at 12-46. And then the team with the best record of those non-playoff teams would be the Bucks, who are at 24-30.
Okay. So, or were you going to ask me in terms of...
Well, what do you think about the idea?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I think I don't think the NBA has a tanking problem. I know I said this a couple weeks ago with Fred that they did. I don't think they did. I know there's situations like with the Jazz getting fined and the Pacers getting fined. It's like, okay, like Jaren Jackson Jr., you just traded for this guy. Okay, why would you just make him a scratch if he's not, like, there's no injury? So I understand that. Like, I think a team should be punished in that sense. But I think there's more. It's not a problem in itself. But I do like what Shams was reporting on Adam Silver coming up with different solutions for this. And I think my two favorite things about it is no longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. I like that. And then I also like that teams can't pick top 4 the year after making a conference finals. So the Oklahoma City Thunder should not be able to own the Clippers pick.
A la the Spurs back in the old
exactly.
Tim Duncan, David Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, that shouldn't, I don't think that they should be rewarded for that. I know it's like, you have to have good GMs, you have to have a good aggressive front offices, but no, I don't think that the Oklahoma City Thunder should have a chance to draft AJ DeBansa. That's not cool.
Yeah, and the protected pick thing, and I know with the aprons and the money and all that kind of stuff that it makes everything more complicated, but I did like that proposal being like, they're not protected. Like, you trade the pick, wherever it is, that's the pick. I kind of like that. But again, incentivizing winning, not just making it less desirable to lose, as Tim put it. That's what I really like about it. So he also did how the 2025 draft lottery could have looked, right? So the order in which, having the most ping pong balls, would have been the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
That's the way it was, followed by Washington, Charlotte, New Orleans, Philadelphia. Well, how it would have played out would have been Washington, because of how they ended up going. They were 18-64, but their record... Well, I'm not going to get into that because that's a little bit more complicated. It would have been Washington, then Toronto, the Bulls, the Pelicans, and the Hornets. At the end of the day, I just like the fact that you're actually having these teams that are going after it like they are winning to try to get the most opportunity to get that number one pick. That takes care of the problem. Boom, right then and there.
Yeah. I thought the most crazy part about last year was technically, if we're looking at the standpoint of like record-wise, like the Chicago Bulls were that close to having Cooper Flagg because Josh Giddey hit that half-court game-winning shot against the Lakers. I don't know if you remember that. Or maybe, was it half-court or full court? I don't know. It might have been. He hit that long full-court, half-court shot against the Lakers, and that ended up giving them one more win than the Dallas Mavericks had last year. And it's like, technically, for a ping pong perspective, it's like the Mavs got Cooper Flagg over the Bulls because of that one win. So I think stuff like that makes it so much interesting when you're looking at it in perspective. It's like, had the Bulls just lost that game, would they have Cooper Flagg right now? But again, it's all perspective.
Well, it's still a lottery.
Yeah, it's still a lottery, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I see your point in it. I don't know. That's just one of the ideas there that I thought was good because nothing... you understand why. And it is smart. But you just hate the fact that it's a competitive sport where teams and players are banking millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from advertisers, from, attendance, all those things that people pay money for you to purposefully go out and not, try to win at that competition. is just, it's disingenuous is not even the type word. It's just, to me, it's flat out wrong. So I really like the fact that you're not just making it less desirable, but in fact, more incentive.
These players want to win. You can tell the way they play every night. They want to win. The Mavs, the Mavs aren't a good team. There's no address the elephant in the room. The Mavs are not a good team. We know that, but they go out there and they play hard.
Yeah,
the Wolves game the other night. Times where they could have, threw it away and just given up. They fought back, man.
Well, this has always been the case. The truth of the matter is that players don't tank, organizations tank. That's how it goes.
No, I agree.
Rick 6 is coming up. Where are we going?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a little bit of blind ranking. I'm going to throw in a couple number 1 overall picks for you to blind rank coming up here next on 105 Through the Fan.
Just hearing the word IRS.
your Rangers is 105.3 The Fan.
This upcoming segment on 105.3 The Fan is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. If you're in the market to upgrade your vehicle, get to Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine, #1 Chevy dealership in the world, 3 years straight. They've got more new Chevys than anyone, all priced to sell. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive, relax, and enjoy the difference based on new Chevy registrations 2023 through 2025.
Going to get into the top prospects in the draft according to NFL executives, coaches, and players at the top of our final hour before we give way to Rangers and Rockies at 2 p.m. Lefty Mackenzie Gore will be on the bump. For the good guys, Will Chambers, Eric Caceres, and Dylan Moore here on this Golden Sunday. U.S. men's hockey team taking home the gold medal for the first time since the miracle in 1980. What a day. Now time for a little Rick Six.
Time for some Rick Six. We're going to be going into blind rank. So I don't know if you've ever played.
I have not. I heard a little bit yesterday, but I think you're going to need to take me through.
Yeah, okay. So, yesterday we, if I'm not mistaken, we did Keep 3, Cut 5. So it's essentially kind of a similar process, except I'm going to give you 10 things. And the theme right now today is #1 overall picks. We'll go to the NFL, right?
Okay.
So we're going #1 overall picks. The thing is, I'm going to give you 10 random #1 overall picks. You don't know which ones I'm going to give you. That's why it's called a blind rank.
Okay.
Your job is to rank them 1 to 10. So if I say, let's say I throw in, Eli Manning, right? You'd be like, oh, okay. You're going to be Eli Manning.
10.
I'll put him at 10. Okay. But you got to be careful because I could throw in, Jamarcus Russell, and you'd be like, man, well, I put Jamarcus Russell too high. You know what I'm saying? So
I lose?
You have to plan accordingly on where you put your blind ranks. I want Dylan to participate in this.
All right.
And, of course, I'll have my own rankings, too. We'll just kind of go through them, but it's going to be random. You don't know
Well, you
what I'm
can't.
gonna
You're
throw at
cheating. You know them.
Well, I'm cheating, but the purpose is how hard is it going to be for you, Will?
All right.
All right.
Let's
Here we
make
go.
it hard on the old man.
No specific years, though, just like...
What's that?
No specific years of like a range? Or is it just all NFL?
It's completely random NFL.
Okay. Oh, man.
Okay, I'm not going to go anywhere past like 05. Like, I'm not going to go like, 1986, #1 overall pick. It's going to be more recent because, I'm 26 years old, guys. So I'm in my Gen Z era.
Okay.
All right, so just keep that in mind.
I'm with
All right,
you.
Here we go. First name up, 2011 Cam Newton. Will Chambers, where are you throwing him at?
And we're talking about their career, right? I guess, yeah, probably.
Yes. That's factoring it in.
I'm going to put him at 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Seems a little low. MVP.
Which was his really, from my opinion, I mean, statistics may show it otherwise, that I thought that was his only really good year.
I thought he had a good career. But as a rusher, from a rushing standpoint, he was one of the best rushing quarterbacks I ever watched. But after that shoulder injury that he had against the Steelers, he was never the same. After that, he was a shell of his former self, and eventually he was out of the league after COVID Cam hit. I'm going to put Cam Newton at 5.
Okay.
What do you think, Dylan?
I was more along the lines with Will, saying like it's like kind of from 05. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks here. Newton didn't have the longevity. I was thinking 7 as well. I'm right with Will. I'm going to put him right at 7 as well.
Interesting.
Well, all right. So I should say he did it. He had 2 because his rookie year was good.
His rookie year was really good. Yes.
Yeah. But we're talking career sub 60% completion percentage, and double-digit interceptions basically every year of his career.
So because of the longevity standpoint, y'all have him at 7. I respect it.
Yeah.
I think I'm more a little bit higher on the peak of Cam Newton because when he was at his peak, he was, I think, very sensational.
But again, that peak was like 1 year.
Yeah, fair enough. Longevity matters too. Okay.
He went. This is what his touchdowns look like: 21, 19, 24, 18, 35, 19,
That's just
22,
passing,
24.
That's just passing, though, right?
Yeah.
You got to factor in rushing, too. I mean, he was an animal at rushing. And he wasn't doing tush pushes. That man was running everywhere.
He was, yeah. I mean, He was a force in rushing, but to me, he wasn't that great a quarterback.
Okay, well, maybe we'll go to another one that's on his way to being a maybe first ballot Hall of Famer on the defensive side. 2017 Myles Garrett.
I can start this one off. Incredible, absolutely incredible. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Broke the sack record. Probably one of the few non-quarterbacks. I'm really high on him. Now, he hasn't won, but of course, he's also on the Browns.
He plays for the Browns, yeah. That's a big, context.
Winning matters, but I'm going to go 4 for Myles Garrett.
Okay. Where are you at, Will?
2.
2? Yeah. Look,
I don't know if we're gonna come up with a better player at number 1.
We might not.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna pull something better out, but
yeah, I'm leaving just that little bit of wiggle room for a maybe.
I will comfortably put Myles Garrett at 3 because I mean, quarterback matters obviously, but from just a pure talent perspective and Hall of Fame trajectory, he's probably going to end up. He could end up being the best.
Yeah. No. Okay. I feel good about a number 2 because I know who my number 1 is.
Okay, I'll put him at number 3. And again, I'm kind of cheating a little bit because I know who's coming next. But, we'll just make it fun. I'll put him at number 3. Okay. I think that's a good spot. Top 3, no doubt about it. We all have him in the top 3. Okay, next name up. Interesting one right here. Heisman Trophy winner, 2010 Sam Bradford. Didn't pan out in the league.
10. He's at 10.
But
he didn't do anything in the league.
He didn't do anything in the league.
Well, no. Okay.
But coming out, I mean, we do have to factor in too that them as a prospect coming in too. How much did you value Sam Bradford coming in?
I thought he was going to be good. I was surprised he wasn't. I'm going to put him at 9 because just to leave somebody that may have really sucked.
In case I throw in some bust like Jamarcus Russell or something like that. You'll put him at 9?
Yeah.
I'll put Sam Bradford at 9 as well. What do you got, Dylan?
I mean, if you put him at 9, I guess there's got to be one worse.
Yeah.
Is there, though? I could be throwing you off,
I don't know.
We'll just go 9.
Maybe.
There's got to be someone worse.
I respect it. All right, next name up. 2018 Baker Mayfield. Also another Heisman Trophy winner from OU.
He's a good quarterback. He really ramped up his career after getting out of Cleveland.
Yeah, that game on Thursday night against the Raiders when he got that, 2 days on the...
It was a wild game. It was like 400 passing yards, something insane.
On the Rams, yeah.
And he
came
won
off
the game.
Couch. Yeah. And that happened to be right after he got cut by the Panthers, which was so fitting.
See, I put myself in a bind here. I put Myles Garrett at 4. He's not better than Myles Garrett.
No.
By no stretch of the imagination.
Oh, God. I have him... Well, go ahead.
I guess I'll... Oh, man. I kind of put myself in a bind here. I'm hoping he gets some good ones here. I'll just put him at 5, I guess.
Yeah, I got him at 6. He doesn't have an MVP where Cam Newton does, but I do believe he's a better overall player.
I'm going to put Baker Mayfield at 7. Not as good as Cam Newton. I had Cam Newton at number 5. But I love Baker Mayfield. I got to watch him my senior year. I went to OU, for those that don't know, my freshman year, back when they had a quarterback that I might throw on this list coming up here in a little bit. But Baker Mayfield, I watched him my senior year. And, yeah, he really turned that program around, and I honestly believe that they should have won the national championship that year, but they choked against Georgia because their defense was so bad. Nonetheless, I'm going to put Baker Mayfield at number 7. Next name up. They considered him generational coming out. Trevor Lawrence, 2021.
Putting him at 5. Ahead of Baker Mayfield. I think maybe a year from now, he'd be maybe a notch or 2 higher. But I'll put him at number 5.
Dylan?
That's... I'm debating between, is he better or worse than Cam Newton? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I guess Cam Newton had a better peak, without a doubt.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence has been
Trevor Lawrence still has a lot of time.
Longer and has some time. Because of that, I'll put him at 6, I think. Just barely over Cam Newton because he still has some time to change his career.
Okay. It's hard with Trevor Lawrence and Cam Newton to me because peak-wise, obviously, Cam Newton hit that. It didn't last, though. Trevor Lawrence, the jury's still out on him. I think he's a franchise quarterback. I think Liam Cohen has turned his career around.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Especially the latter part of this year.
I think Cam Newton was the better college quarterback.
Well, we're not talking about that.
But they were both phenomenal college quarterbacks. And
Cam Newton was unbelievable.
Cam Newton's arguably the best college quarterback ever.
No.
He's up there.
He's
up there. He's up there.
He's not Tebow.
But Trevor Lawrence was phenomenal coming out, too.
Yeah, no question.
And I think because the jury is still out on Trevor Lawrence, and I think that Liam Cohen is going to make him a possible MVP player, I'm going to put him right over Cam Newton at number 4.
Okay.
So that's what I got. 214 chiming in said Cam Newton went to the Super Bowl and Lawrence had been mediocre at best for his whole career. Hey, like I said, Trevor Lawrence is still young. Liam Cohen might turn that team around. All right. So looks like right now, little update. Dylan, you have 8, 10, 5, 3, 2, and 1 open.
I have 10, 8, 3, 2, and 1. Yeah.
10, 8, 3, 2, and 1?
Yeah.
I got 1, 3, 4, 8, 10 left.
Yep. And then I have 1, 2, 6, 8, 10. All right, here we go. 2012 Andrew Luck. Will, what do you think about him?
Oh, man.
His career didn't last, though.
Yeah. Number 3.
Really?
Yeah.
No hesitation.
None. Myles Garrett I put ahead of him. I'm saving another player that I believe we will hear his name to be my no doubt number 1. And Andrew Luck was awesome. Did throw a lot of picks, but hey, so did Brett Favre.
I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm putting Andrew Luck at 6.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I'm putting Andrew Luck at 6. Dude, he would have been a lot better than all these other quarterbacks. But his career didn't last because the offensive line was so bad. He retired.
Well, wait. How many years did he play?
He played 6 years, maybe 7? Was it 7? 6 or 7? I'm not trying to do this.
6. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
that's not enough.
I see what you did there.
No, I didn't actually mean to make that.
Yeah, I will put 5 of those years against any of Cam
You know what? If you want to put him over,
of them.
if you want to put him over Trevor Lawrence and Cam Newton, I don't hate it. I'm not putting him over Myles Garrett though. And I kind of screwed up on my spots. So I think Andrew Luck by default has to go to 6 for me because I'm putting him over Baker Mayfield. I'm putting him over Sam Bradford any day. He's probably better than Cam Newton and Trevor Lawrence. Definitely as a prospect, but I kind of screwed up on my ranking, so I can't put him any higher.
I screwed up too. One last thing. Let me get him. Sorry, Myles Garrett. I guess I got to put him at 3.
We're running out of time.
I don't have an option.
All right, we're coming back to finish this on the other side. Did you say, Dylan, that you moved Myles down to put Andrew Luck higher?
No, Myles Garrett's at 4. I have nowhere lower to go.
Him.
I can't move him. He's stuck at 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I
wanted
couldn't
him
move Andrew
higher.
Luck.
Now you want him higher. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're opening up hour 4 with this next.
The more time you get, K&M Leasing Studios. Thanks for turning it on and leaving it on. 105.3 The Fan.
Final hour on this Golden Sunday. Great to have you with us. The United States men's hockey team, for the first time in 40 years, has taken home the gold medal as they defeat Canada 2-1 in overtime, and one of the best goalie performances that you can see in a big moment. And boy, did Connor Hellebuyck need it after his NHL career really has, you could just kind of file it down to not showing up for some of those big moments. And boy, did he do that this morning in Milan. Will Chambers, Eric Caceres here with you with Dylan Moore. Rangers baseball coming up 2 o'clock today as they take on the Rockies. Lefty Mackenzie Gore be on the bump. Got an updated lineup for you coming up a little bit later, but we are taking, this is my maiden voyage on a Rick 6, and I got to say I like it. So we're ranking. We have to do a blind ranking, the top 10 for each of us of overall number one picks in the NFL. So without knowing whom is going to be given to us next, we are ranking these guys in an order, hoping that I get a name that is going to top Myles Garrett, as I have him as my number 2 overall, top number one pick since 05.
Yeah, we got 4 to go right now. So for a little bit of update for the Toes that are just tuning in, my list right now, I have 1, 2, 8, and 10 open. We got 4 to go. Myles Garrett, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Bradford have been the names. Number 1 overall picks to be named. Dylan has his list as well. He's got 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 10 open. So we are ready to name off these last 4, and we want the totals to weigh in. 877-881-1053. What would your list be? Who is the number 1 best overall pick that you guys have seen? Let us know here on the Franco and Franco Injury Attorney text line. All right, Will Chambers, I like it. It seems like I'm stressing you out a little bit on who I'm going to put at you next. What do you think? I mean,
No. I'm very comfortable.
Okay, all right.
I'm not comfortable here.
Yeah, he's not.
Yo, see, I was stressing yesterday.
Because I decided to put Myles Garrett at 4.
Right,
and,
exactly.
I thought we were going to get some better quarterbacks.
This would definitely stress out Chris.
Yo, Chris was stressed because yesterday I did hip hop albums hip hop artist. And
oh my God,
he
was
stressing.
Do that to that man.
He was stressing. I gave him Drake off the dome, like right off the bat. I gave him Drake, and he didn't like that at all.
No, because he's gonna want to move him around.
Yeah.
Well, we all want to move him around. Dylan's just saying he's got Myles Garrett at 4. He wants him higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So we left number 10 open, which might be a good thing because the next guy I got throwing at y'all, number 10, 2022, Trayvon Walker. Another defensive end.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Is he still with Jacksonville?
Is he in the league?
Yeah, he's still with Jacksonville. He had 3.5 sacks this past year. He actually had a career year the year before, 10.5 sacks. But he has not been number 1 overall pick worthy. He's been a pretty good, decent defensive player. But Aiden Hutchinson should have been the number 1 overall pick that year. So I think Sam Bradford coming in, though he didn't pan out to the quarterback that maybe some people thought, being a Heisman Trophy winner, he ended up having, I think by default, Trayvon Walker's at 10.
I mean, the picks following him, I just pulled it up. It was Aiden Hutchinson went 2, Derek Stingley went 3, Sauce Gardner went 4.
All those guys are Pro Bowlers.
So, and Kayvon Thibodeau went 5, so.
All right.
I'm putting Trayvon Walker at 10.
Yeah, he has to be at 10. We don't.
You pull somebody out here that sucks worse than that. Then he did have a 10-sack season, so it's not terrible. But
we're talking about number 1 overall pick worthy now. All right, 3 to go. Here we go. Next name up.
You mean like a Hall of Famer?
2024 Caleb Williams.
Jeez.
Oh, I feel very comfortable with having that 4 slot open right now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really good with that. Better than
Will. I think you're doing this game better than me.
Well, thank you.
I have a 1, 2, and 8.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
It would be disrespectful to Andrew Luck and Myles Garrett to put him above it. Just for that reason, I'm going to put him at 8. And
really?
I'm just.
Well, yeah, he's
I don't have an option.
To it. Yeah,
it's disrespectful to them.
Okay, so remind me what you have open.
1 and 2.
I have 1 and 8.
You have 1 and 2, and then you have 1 and 8. Okay, I have 1, 2, and 8. But I'm going to go ahead and put Caleb Williams at 2. I'm going to put Caleb Williams at 2.
There you go.
Oh, man.
You know,
there you go.
I can't put him at 8. I can't put him behind Baker. And no, I can't do that. Right ahead of Sam. No, that'd be disrespectful.
He's well on his way to becoming number 1
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly. All right. Next name
Doing
up.
it from Hammond, Indiana.
Exactly, yeah. Next name up, 2019 Kyler Murray.
Oh,
well.
Yeah.
Can I put him at 11?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like Kyler Murray?
Man, I think I've really nailed this.
Well, I have to put him at 2. So
You're doing a good job, honestly.
Yeah, he's at 8.
I don't have an option. He has to go at 2.
Dang, Dylan messed up.
Yeah.
But it's
Not
all right.
good.
I messed up with Andrew
Your
Luck.
list is trash.
Yeah, it kind of is, honestly.
Yeah, I'm putting Kyler Murray at 8. I think this is a good spot. Even though I am kind of cheating, I did screw up on Andrew Luck. So that's on me.
Well, I mean, I could have an epic fail here because the only slot I have open is
one.
my number
That's
1.
what I have.
So the question is, am I going to give you a bust or am I actually going to give you a true number 1?
I've been saving 1 for one name.
Okay. Let's see if that one name is that one name. Number 1, by default, for all of us, would be 2020 Joe Burrow.
Bam!
There you go.
Bam! My list is dope.
Let's go.
I think. Hold on.
Did you mess up? Will might have just ran the table.
No, I think that if I were given this set of names,
you killed it.
I think I would have put them exactly where I have them.
So you have Joe Burrow, Myles Garrett, Andrew Luck, Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Cam Newton, Kyler Murray, Sam Bradford, Trayvon Walker. That's a great list.
I mean,
how about that for Will Chambers?
Come on.
He has defeated the Brine ranking. Another edition of Rick 6. Thank you, boys. That was fun.
Yeah, I had Kyler Murray number 2. Mine went Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Andrew Luck, Myles Garrett. Outside of Kyler Murray, not terrible.
No.
They got Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Newton, then Caleb Williams, Sam Bradford, and Trayvon Walker.
You jumped the gun on the Myles Garrett at 4.
I kind of did. Yeah. I almost put him at 3. That might have saved me.
It's all right. That's what blind ranking's all about. That's what it's all about.
Okay. I'm looking at because I'm just like curious on Trayvon Walker because I haven't heard anything. I mean, I totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh God, yeah. He was the number 1 pick. All right, so let's see. He had, I mean, at least he starts for his team still.
Yes. He's not a bad player. Like I'm not going to say Trayvon Walker is a bust. He's just a good player.
Hey, I mean, he had 2 seasons. He had 10 sacks in 23 and 10.5 in 24.
No,
so
he's a good
actually,
player, yeah.
maybe the only difference I would have is
over Sam Bradford.
Yeah. And I would consider ahead of Kyler.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think Kyler is very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he could be, but I mean, if he had any kind of mentality, towards being great, I just don't think he has that.
He's just waiting for the next Call of Duty game to come out.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, where would you have if Matthew Stafford was pulled? Where would you put him on that list?
1.
Well,
I'd put him 1. I think Matthew Stafford's a top 10 quarterback of all time.
Okay.
On his way.
This is where it becomes a more nuanced discussion, whereas if I could start a team and I could choose between 21, 22-year-old Joe Burrow or 21, 22-year-old Matt Stafford, I'm taking Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
You know what I mean? But you can't Matt Stafford for their body of work. Stafford's body of work is better than Burrow's. I mean, he's got an MVP and a Super Bowl ring, So that's where it becomes tricky there. So I think it's I would have to put Stafford
Burrow
at 1.
could have
I'd have to put him at 1 because of what he's done in his career. Burrow hasn't gone there yet. But as far as what I think are like the best players in this, yeah.
If it's band for band, just straight up best player, I think Myles Garrett's probably 1.
Well, see, that's why I'm comfortable.
Probably.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel pretty good about Burrow, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be just of the people that are the spectrum that is on how people look at Joe Burrow. I am on the higher side, even though everybody's pretty high on him, but I'm like really high on him because I think he is 1,000%. You know the discussion we were having on Karl Anthony Towns?
Yeah.
All the things that Cat doesn't have, Burrow's got,
yeah.
To go along with talent.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he could end up having a Matthew Stafford career arc where, he's
very much
wasting his career in Cincinnati, goes to maybe like an LA or, I don't know, somewhere that prioritizes winning, and he wins the Super Bowl.
So sad. That city deserves better. It really does than that just joke crap of a franchise. It's so ridiculous.
214 says, you would start your franchise with an injury-prone QB. Hey, look, he plays for Cincinnati. That offensive line is horrible.
Yeah. I mean, right. His injury started in Cincinnati. I'm saying at 21, 22 years old, if I'm starting him, I would do more to support, offensive line, all the other kind of stuff. So, yeah. And Matt Stafford has been injury prone, even his time in Detroit.
Yeah.
Because they suck too.
He didn't have a over 500 career record until this year. Isn't that, how ridiculous that is?
That's
when
what
you think
happens
about
when
it?
you played in Detroit
Exactly.
in the, 2000s and, 2010s.
Hey, this is another conversation, but that's exactly why wins are not a QB stat. I die on that hill every time.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think you have you play the biggest role in a win for your team, but we're talking about, one, you only play half the time. You only play on one side of the ball, and then you do so with, 10 other guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you are reliant on a lot of others. It's same type of discussion I have, when it comes to each year we have a different, who's the best wide receiver in the NFL? It's different every year, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's because, you tell me that Justin Jefferson all of a sudden is not the best wide receiver in the world? Well, no. I mean, he had hot garbage thrown him the football, So it's not to mention, the decision as to where they go with the football.
Yeah.
And
people
as any fantasy owner will tell you.
Players elevate. Like JSN is a dog. So it's not saying JSN is the best. It's not saying that Justin Jefferson got worse,
I think people would have, and here I could pull up the Frankel & Frankel injury attorneys fan text. If you've got an issue with my list, I mean, I could see it was definitely with the Cam Newton. Wait, okay. All right. See, maybe I shouldn't have opened this up.
Why? What happened?
The 214. Newton was better than Tebow in college. Look at the difference in talent on the teams they led to a chip. I'm not having it. No. He was in no way Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, if it weren't for Bo Jackson, I mean, he's the best college football player I've ever seen. I mean, that dude literally willed Florida to a championship.
How about Vince Young?
Vince Young is up there.
He's up there.
And that's usually the discussion, mainly surrounding quarterbacks, like between, Vince Young and, and just as college quarterbacks. But Tebow for 3 years, he was insane.
214. Dan Marino's a top 10 QB all time, but no ring. That's right. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
It's not all about rings.
Yeah, it happens. All right, good stuff. The top prospects in this draft, according to NFL coaches, executives, and players, we'll finally get to that next.
Take us with you wherever you...
Dak, for what we say about
second round Derek Carr
not winning big games, I really thought he was later, but
I just knew he wasn't first.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is he the best player in this draft according to executives, coaches, and NFL players surveyed by ESPN's Finest? He only got one vote. Regardless of position, who's the best prospect in the class, only one vote. Also with one vote, Ohio State safety Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
3 votes for running back Jeremiah Love, and then 5 for Arvell Reese, the edge out of Ohio State, which most, the consensus is pretty strong at 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That it's going to go Mendoza, Arvell Reese. I think the whole thing with Jeremiah Love, to me, last year we looked at Ashton Genty.
Mm-hmm.
And I still am a believer in Ashton Genty.
He was running behind the worst offensive line in the league.
Awful. And just one of the more schizophrenic quarterbacks I've ever seen. I mean, Geno, man.
And Pete Carroll's very outdated.
He makes Jay Cutler look like a game manager. It's wild. So he literally has no help.
No, yeah.
Nobody at wide receiver. That offense, it was basically we're just going to key in on Genty. So, but as good of a prospect as Ashton was, Jeremiah Love is the home run hitter. Big time. I mean, Jeremiah Love, to me, reminds me of Zeke coming out. All right. I know at the time, and I was on the air down the street, looking at the draft, that I was big on Jalen Ramsey. And at the time, I think the Cowboys really could have used a corner, a really good player. But then, and I'm like, okay, I see it with Zeke. What they had done was a couple of years earlier, it was really a decision between DeMarco Murray and Dez Bryant. Who are they going to give the money to?
Yeah.
And they gave it to Dez after DeMarco had a tremendous season. And then the offense kind of just really fell apart. All right, not to mention, Romo got injured too, but you just didn't. You had nothing there at running back, so they get Zeke, and then man alive, was that offense incredibly well balanced. Nobody could have foreseen what was going to happen with Dak Prescott and all that. Now, I think it's possible that New Orleans will grab him, but it's Kansas City. this is the most obvious need pick for a team. Kansas City's got things that they need to address. I mean, I still think their offensive line is shaky. Wide receiver, can you get this man some help?
Bring Tyreek Hill back, maybe.
Come on. First off, Tyreek Hill probably is he even playing next year, and second off,
30
with that type of
33,
injury,
32.
Yeah, that's not a fix. Yeah. So I think that is the biggest help to Patrick Mahomes and crew would be to get him. Love had 35 rushing touchdowns over the last 2 seasons combined. Explosive player of the backfield. Yeah. And I believe that now, after devaluing the running back position for a long time, that has really flipped a little bit, and maybe not, top. You're not going to start seeing like a run on running backs. And maybe if you had a draft that had like a bunch of good ones, you could see a few in the first round. I think right now they're looking at the position correctly.
Yeah.
If you've got a stud game changer home run hitter like he or like you, what the Lions got in Jahmyr Gibbs, you put them, where they are.
Yeah, no. Jeremiah Love too. I got to watch him play this past year, and then we played him when we were in South Bend. I was an A&M fan, so yeah, he's explosive. I like his game a lot, and I don't hate him at all being the 1 or 2 best prospect in this entire draft. And I think Kansas City would love to have him. Obviously, New Orleans would love to have him. Yeah, keep him, and keep Jeremiah Smith away from Kansas City. That's all I got to say. I don't want those 2 guys going with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Patriots Pro Bowl cornerback Christian Gonzalez, as well as Patriots special teamer Alex Austin. They both chose Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson.
He's a dog.
As the player that they are most excited to see in the NFL. Gonzalez saying he's from the same area as me near Dallas. Boom. And we have the same agent, so I got to know him a little bit. Great guy, great athlete. Excited to see him in this league. He's going to be a great player. And Austin saying he's really athletic. Excited to see what he can do.
So he's from the DFW area too?
Jordan Tyson, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because Christian Gonzalez went to the Colony.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to DFW, man. Always representing those athletes, man.
Yeah.
JSN's from
he's Allen.
Rockwall.
Yeah, Jordan Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Allen. Shoot, I literally just lost that entire page.
Are they saying he's the best, or they were just praising him?
No, the player that they're most excited to see in the NFL.
Don't hate it.
Right. Nick Emanwari from Seattle saying that he likes South Carolina quarterback Brandon Sissy and Clemson wide receiver Antonio Williams. Let's see if there's anyone. Miami defensive lineman Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
Patriots linebacker Jack Gibbons said of him, he's an exciting player. Watched him a couple times in the playoff games. He seems like he is someone to definitely watch there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when I look at the draft, I said this about a month or so ago. I think it might have been Matt Miller on his, where he was doing grades for cornerbacks, and that he didn't have a first-round grade for any quarterback in the draft. I thought that was interesting because that is one of the huge areas of need for the Cowboys. And you got 2 first-round picks, and you're like, wow, you don't have any day 2 picks. And you're like, okay, if it's not a great cornerback draft, you'd really like to have the ability to take them in the 2nd or 3rd round. So does that also mean, and I will hearken back to what Dan Graziano had said this week about, the trade situations, for Max Crosby. And they had 4 different scenarios. They had one with the Bears, the Chargers, the Cowboys, and somebody else. Well, anyway, they all voted on which was the best scenario, and the best one was the Cowboys, where they would be sending Pickens and their number 20 pick.
Yeah.
Getting Max Crosby, but then also getting back a second rounder. That's where I think again, we go back to the discussion on, you'd like to have Pickens back, right? I mean, that offense was just it was outstanding. But do you need to be that potent? Could you find another wide receiver and use him to get Max Crosby and then also get a day 2 pick without having one in this draft? Yeah. That is really something to chew on.
Yeah. Well, I was asking Brian Broaddus, Cowboy Scout, shout out to him, going to be doing at the Combine this week, holding it down. Mm-hmm. But I was asking him with Fred a couple Sundays ago, the possibility of, the Cowboys, who they could draft and who they could trade for. And I think it's, I wouldn't be surprised if Max Crosby is somebody that honestly doesn't end up getting dealt at all. Like we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, because, the Raiders can say, screw it, we don't want to deal him. And so if we're going to, it's going to be for a lot more than he's worth.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's worth a great deal. The problem is his age. He's older. And does have some injury issues. But what he brings to a team, the locker room, the type of player that he is, I can't even imagine a better character, personality fit, or not better, but exactly what the Cowboys need.
Yeah.
Right? That type of player is exactly it right there. Just relentless, a dog, somebody that is, when it comes to the big moments, right, where we talked about Micah Parsons, how you're like, well, second half of seasons, didn't really see, you can see numbers, right, sack-wise.
Or even in the playoffs, for that matter.
Yeah, and playoffs, too. Well, Max Crosby flat out would not let that happen unless he's being carried off the field.
Yeah. It's interesting because, Mel Kiper and a bunch of the Field Yates, all these other analysts that have been evaluating the draft, they put out a ranking of all the prospects. They did top 5 at every position. And I'm looking at it right now. And for cornerback, a lot of people, it says Kiper included, and Yates, both have Gerard McCoy over Mansour Delane, Tennessee cornerback, as the best cornerback in this draft class, which is interesting, Will, because he's coming off a knee injury, So, do you take that risk, right?
Yeah.
Do you go for the upside of that?
It's tough. That's why they don't pay us the big bucks.
That's right.
But hey, I'll listen. The offseason for baseball is over. What grade did the Texas Rangers get? And a key part of that will be actually starting for them. Whom that is, what that grade is, all coming up next year on The Fan.
Auto Nation's new year. Rangers is 105.3 The Fan.
This next segment on 105.3 The Fan is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. If you're in the market to upgrade your vehicle, get to Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine. #1 Chevy dealership in the world, 3 years straight. They've got more new Chevys than anyone, all priced to sell. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive, relax, and enjoy the difference. Based on new Chevy registrations 2023 through 2025.
Great work today, Dylan Moore. Dial on. Outstanding work. Okay, one more time today. Will Chambers, Eric Caceres here on 105.3 The Fan. Your lineup for your Texas Rangers as they take on the Colorado Rockies in surprise. Batting first in center field will be Evan Carter, followed by Corey Seager at short. Jock Peterson at 3, your designated hitter. Batting cleanup is Jake Berger at first. Josh Young at third, followed by Josh Smith at second. Batting seventh, Kyle Higashioka. He's catching. Alejandro Osuna is in right field. Michael Hellman in left field. And again, Mackenzie Gore, one of the offseason additions for the Rangers, will be on the bump.
Making his debut today. Let's go.
That's right. And the offseason grades are in. David Schoenfeld of ESPN gives the final grades. There's a few A's in there and one F.
Uh-oh.
Rangers got neither. They're smack dab in the middle. They passed with a C+. Additions being Gore, Brandon Nemo, Danny Jansen. I almost read that as Danny Jackson. Wait, what? Jacob Junis, Chris Martin, who they re-signed. The departures were obviously Simeon, Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim, Tyler Malley, Merrill Kelly, Patrick Corbin, Sean Armstrong, Obi Milner, and John Gray. The Rangers emphatically moved on from the 23 World Series team. These moves were as much about performances as saving money, as Garcia and Heim both posted 271 OBPs. Ugh.
Wow.
Not good. In the Simeon for Nemo exchange, the Rangers traded 3 years of Simeon for 5 years of Nemo, saving a few million in AAV, but not really improving the team. We talked about that a week or two ago. That, things with Walcott, second base did not really fix that issue. While taking on a contract, they'll probably be dead weight by the end of it. The Gore trade could be a big plus.
So what was the F?
That was the Twins. And it was basically because the owner, one of the owners, their key baseball operations person, just left, said, yeah, I'm not having it. Here are your A's. By the way, the Oakland A's got a D. Your Boston Red Sox getting Ranger Suarez, Sonny Gray, Wilson Contreras, Johan Oviedo, Caleb Durbin, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and Andrew Monasterio. The Red Sox get an A. The Dodgers, duh.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing, too. Do people out there here hit us up 877-881-1053? Do you hate the Dodgers? I don't hate the Dodgers. I mean, if you were making all that money and not putting it back into the team, I'd be pissed if I was a fan of that team.
They're just taking advantage of the resources. I mean, I don't know how you could hate them for that.
Yeah, their television deals are astronomical, and they could just sit on that money. I was just talking, we were doing, the Rick Six with, and talking about Burrow and all that kind of stuff, and how unfortunately he went to Cincinnati. I was like, Cincinnati just banks in, now it's different salary cap, I get it, but they don't spend any of their money. They have no scouting department. Their facilities are a joke. So, I mean, I'm like, man, if you naturally hate the Dodgers, that's fine. But for what they're doing here, I'm like, yeah. But I love how the players are like, yeah, I love what they do. Of course you love what they do.
Yeah.
More money to the players, the better. But man, as
a Rangers fan, I can't stand the Blue Jays for obvious reasons. So I was rooting for the Dodgers in the World Series. Sue me.
Yeah. There you go. The Detroit Tigers get an A. Did you see, by the way, this was like, I don't know, kind of a footnote. They brought back Justin Verlander, making that full circle. Also getting Kenley Jansen in there. Kyle Finnegan. Remember Valdez. The most important one was one they didn't make, according to Schoenfeld. Trading Tariq Skubal. There was apparently a consideration, or at least being talked about. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Come on. Mariners get an A-. They got Josh Naylor, or re-signed him. Brandon Donovan, Jose Ferrer. So, let's see. There is no single blow-your-socks-off move here, but the Mariners did what they had to do to remain favorites in the AL West. Bringing back Naylor on a 5-year deal was a pivotal transaction. Then, there's a bunch of Bs in there, the Mets, Blue Jays, and all that. What are the things that you are looking forward to most in this upcoming season?
Well, are the Dodgers going to three-peat? Because I think when you start getting into three-peat territory, that becomes, obviously, like, you can already say that they're a dynasty. From the 806, they said, yeah, because dynasties are boring and predictable. Look, hey, man, stop it. That's all I got to say. Just stop it. And how much of the narrative would be different, Will, had the Blue Jays won that Game 7?
How much different for me?
And for people in general.
I don't care.
It's like, do you think people would be as mad if the Dodgers had lost in the World Series?
Yeah, I mean, there's a natural disdain for the Blue Jays here because of the recent history with, playoff runs with the Rangers. So I think there's a general, not liking of them. I mean, for me personally, I go, the thing about it to me and what I look forward to most in Major League Baseball seasons, obviously the teams that I cover / like to win, right? Clearly, I want the Rangers to win. But, I grew up a Cubs fan. And also in Cincinnati, there is a very soft spot in my heart for the Cincinnati Reds. So I want to see them do well. But in a very general sense, I like it when the big teams are good. Call me a whatever. But I want to see the Red Sox being good. Not because I care about the Red Sox.
It's better when they're
better
good.
when they're good.
Exactly.
It's better when the Yankees are good. I want to see the Mets being good. I don't want to see Toronto in a World Series again. Toronto bores me.
Well, I thought the Mariners just being really good last year was good for the league, too.
And by the way, that's a totally unfair thing. Like, the Blue Jays have exciting players. For whatever reason, their franchise just bores me. Like, I can't explain that. It's like the Tennessee Titans.
I just want to get back in the dance, man. I want to get back in contention for the Rangers. I'm tired. It always seems like we're there. We have one thing right, but then the other thing goes wrong. Something goes wrong. So I want some consistency. I want better hitting. The pitching last year was way better than I could have ever imagined. So I just want us to be healthy and have a chance to compete in October. I want October baseball.
Yeah. There's just really nothing like it. And it can happen out of nowhere, right? As evidence to what we saw on the World Series run. I mean, that was not looking good at the end of the year. But we've seen this, and we talked about it at the time. I remember Jared and I talked about it a bunch. I remember one St. Louis Cardinals team in particular that was just free-falling in September. And they still made it in the playoffs, and then boom, went on, won the World Series. So it's just getting to the October baseball and setting things up for, what your rotation looks like, because things just become shorter, right? Rotations, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Do they have the dogs to do it? I don't know. I mean, offense the last 2 years has been rough. Like, super rough. But, yeah, I mean,
we knew it would be a little bit unsustainable after how great it was in 2023, but we didn't think it would be this bad. So it's like finding that balance.
Yeah.
Which is hard to find. I feel like it's the same thing with the Cowboys, too. It's like, 1 year their offense is really good, but the defense sucks. And then
Yeah.
the other way around, vice versa. It's like, oh, what the heck happened to the offense? Now the defense is good? Like, what? How?
And also, the thing for me is what I love in a baseball player is athleticism, multi-tool. Like growing up, it was always like 5-tool player. Oh, he's a 5-tool player. And I'd be like all giddy, like, oh, I can't wait to watch this guy play. Because one of my favorite players, well, two of my favorite players of all time are Ryan Sandberg and Eric Davis. You know, those are, I mean, Rhino was not known when he played second base. He didn't like known as a strong arm, but great defender, could run, great hitter, hit for power. Eric Davis, great arm, speed, was a 30-50 guy. Was great in the field, all that kind of stuff. So that's why my excitement with, Ellie De La Cruz, I'm like, oh my God, if he could see his potential. Now, he had a quadriceps injury last year that really slowed him down. But who's the next guy like that, or several guys like that are just so exciting, they're like, you show up to watch? I remember when Yasiel Puig came in, you were like, oh my God, every time he came up to bat, I wanted to watch him. I'd want to watch a Dodgers game just to see him because he was such a beast. The obvious was Shohei, but that's he's like an anomaly in the Matrix.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
He's not even real.
Yeah. So those are the things I'm looking forward to the most in this baseball season. And then I rely on, Jared for that stuff.
Is there a point in the season where you're like, maybe it's like a certain game where you're like, okay, now it's time. Now it's baseball season. Like I'm in. I'm all in. I'm locked in.
July.
Fair enough.
I mean, I watch throughout. I mean, I'll be watching as soon as the season starts. But when I really start taking what I think I know for real, it is July.
Love it.
All right.
Great show today, man.
You too, buddy. That was a good time. I enjoyed that Rick 6, especially how well I dominated it. Dylan is still reeling from that. Okay, let us head out to Surprise, Arizona. The Rangers are taking the field. The Colorado Rockies. That's coming up next here on The Fan.
Our goal is to have you